Colorado, it was a season to trample the skeptics. The defending national champions unveiled a pack of talented underclassmen, and everyone, even Coach Bill McCartney, forgot it was a rebuilding year. Actually, Colorado needed few repairs because the chief architect, Darian Do-It-All Hagan, was bidding a sweet farewell to his extraordinary college career. Alabama knows bowls, but who knew Coach Gene Stallings would be savoring a 10-victory season? In Tuscaloosa, history repeats itself. You win with the likes of Saran Stacy, and to that kind of style, you add substance, the suffocating defense of Robert Stewart. Tonight, a meeting of past, present, and future powers, Colorado and Alabama. But colorful night in Miami for the Bowl by the Beach, the second annual Blockbuster Bowl. We are at the ultra-modern Joe Robbie Stadium for what promises to be one of the most competitive bowls of the season. Now, the ground here is wet from some scattered showers, but the skies have cleared somewhat. It's number 15 Colorado against number 8 Alabama. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Joyce, and tonight, a game of the old and the new. Colorado, whose program really came of age in the 80s, and Alabama, one of the most successful programs in the history of college football. And tonight, the Crimson Tide is making its 44th bowl appearance. That's 10 more than any other school. This also marks the beginning of the CBS College Bowl season. And for the call on this first one, let's send you upstairs to Jim Nance and Dan Fouts.
Andrea, thank you. It's great to be back on college football, and a pleasure, Dan, to sit alongside with you tonight. And we're going to see the closeout of a career that's really one of the great option careers in the history of college football. I'm talking about the option operator for the Buffaloes, Darian Hagan, who led them to a national championship a year ago.
And he's had such a wonderful career. I talked to Coach Bill McCartney just moments ago, and he says tonight's going to be the payback night for Darian Hagan's career. He's going to open up the offense, come completely out of character, and junk the eye bone. So we're going to see Darian Hagan at his very best tonight.
Wow, it's going to be something to watch. Darian coming back from a knee injury from last year's Orange Bowl. Also bouncing back from a knee injury in 1990, Saran Stacy for Alabama. He had a big season for the Crimson Tide, Dan.
Well, this is a young Crimson Tide football team, especially on that offensive line. And what Saran Stacy has provided for this football team is leadership. And that leadership has taken the form of great performance.
You know, I think if there was ever one college football matchup destined for a close finish, it would be Colorado and Alabama. Just look what happened this season, Dan.
Well, it's because of defense, Jim. Both teams have outstanding defenses and coaches that are not afraid to take chances on offense. We should see a wide-open offensive game as well.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. And right now, down on the field, one of the great scenes in college football, one of the grand entrances. Here comes the mascot from Colorado, Ralphie 3, leading on the Buffaloes. McCartney, his team 8-2-1 on the season, ranked number 15 in America, and a share of the Big 8 title. 3 straight years, Big 8 champions, the Colorado Buffaloes. Working with us on the sidelines, we're pleased to have with us Jim Gray, and let's join him right now backstage.
All right, Jim, as Alabama gets ready for its 44th bowl appearance, you can't help but think back to the man who led them to so many of those bowls, the legendary Paul Bear Bryant. Now, I had the opportunity to speak with current coach Gene Stallings, and he told me that he knows he's always going to play second fiddle to the Bear, but he does not view that legend as a burden. In fact, just prior to his team leaving Tuscaloosa, he took the entire squad to the Paul Bear Bryant Museum on the campus, and that proved to be a very motivational visit.
It kind of gets you pumped up and adrenaline rushing, and you want to just kind of live up to the level and expectation everybody has for you because you played Alabama, and it's really a great, I think, motivational too. He taking us there and seeing what we're supposed to live up to and how good we're supposed to be.
So as this team gets ready to take the field, Jim Nantz, more so than any other Alabama team in recent history, this one definitely carries the tradition of the Bear. Jim?
And here they come, number 8 in the country with a 10-1 record, the Crimson Tide. Gene Stallings with a superb effort in his second season in Alabama. The only loss was to number 3 Florida. It's Alabama and Colorado. College football is back on CBS. Well, 73 and humid with a 1 in 5 chance of a passing shower. Well, we showed you the entrance of Ralphie, and let's take another look now with our Buffalo cam. And Dan Fouts, tell me, did the knee ever touch? Was he down?
Well, instant replay is looking at it right now. Yes, definitely. Both the right knee there and the right cheek of Ralphie hit the turf there. All I can hope for, Jim, is that that's not an omen for the Buffalo football team tonight.
Palmer. They call him Deuce. He's a freshman, a true freshman from Birmingham, Alabama. He's run 3 punts back this year for touchdowns.
And he's meant 1,000 yards in all-purpose yardage for the Tide. And as just a freshman, that is remarkable. What a career he's going to have at Alabama.
You see him everywhere on the field as a receiver, some at quarterback. And trying to keep it away from him, they go instead to Derek Lassick. Out across the 20, and a nice run to the 30-yard line. Lassick is a backup tailback. We'll see action tonight behind Saran Stacy, but Jay Barker pulls the trigger at quarterback, a freshman making his 4th start. In the backfield, 2 seniors, the only 2 seniors on offense, Turner and Stacy. The receivers, Kevin Lee and Prince Wimbley. Tight end, it's Steve Buskey. Here's a look now at Jay Barker. Out firing to Stacy on the sideline route at about the 34-yard line. Very young offensive line for the Tide, Dan.
Toby Shields is the center of attraction. He'll be going up against Joel Steed. That'll be a matchup we'll be watching. But the big thing, Jim, though, is this youth on this offensive line. John Stevenson, just a true freshman there. He's looked upon as being a leader for the future.
Averages out as a sophomore offensive line. A freshman, a junior, and 3 softs. Second down at 6 for Alabama. On the pitch, here's Saran Stacy. Shakes off the tackle of Marcellus Elder, and Greg Thomas forced him out of bounds. At about the 37, Joel Steed. First team All-America, Walter Camp. Leonard Renfro and Marcellus Elder on the line. Greg Biekert is the top tackler for the Buffaloes. And the outside backers, Ron Wolford, along with Chad Brown. Good secondary, headed by Figures and Bradford on the corners, and Hamilton and Thomas the safeties. 3rd down and 3 for the Crimson Tide. 3 receivers in the game. Shuffle pass. Stacy will have the first down. He breaks into the open at midfield. And caught in the secondary by Deon Figures. .32 yards. Saran Stacy on the shuffle pass.
Just a perfect call for the Tide, as perfect execution as Wilson comes along on the trap block and then into the secondary. Deon Figures makes a touchdown saving tackle right there as he lays out. But a big 3rd down conversion for the Tide, and they're in business.
David Palmer is in the game, lined up to the right now, coming in motion. 1st and 10 from the 30. Here's this dangerous freshman touching it for the first time. And he gets about 5. Eric Hamilton. Strong safety on the hit.
Gene Stallings told us that in order to beat the Colorado defense, players such as Palmer and Stacy are going to have to come up big and make some big plays, and he's not going to be afraid to use Palmer all over the field, as you mentioned, Jim. We saw him there on the reverse, and we'll also see him play a little bit of quarterback this evening.
He ran a touchdown in from 10 yards out, lined up as a quarterback against Auburn. 2nd down and 5 to the short side for Stacy, and about 2 yards for Saran. He's been busy this week trying to pick up a passport, Dan. He's headed to the Japan Bowl, as several other players are, including his backfield mate Kevin Turner. Yesterday at 6:30 in the morning, he was in Miami trying to get his passport all straightened away for that all-star game in Japan.
And he had to go back to have his picture retaken. He could have used this picture right here. That's a good one there.
That's a good one.
But going to the Japan Bowl, that's a nice capper to a wonderful career.
And one of the coaches will be Bill McCartney. 3rd down and 2. Out of the eye, Stacy on the pitch. Look out, they've got him for a loss. Chad Brown forced the play. And Leonard Renfro was in on that action, a loss of 5.
And in talking to Stacy yesterday about his favorite play, he says it's the toss to either the right side or the left side. Already this evening, we've seen the Tide run that 3 times. Well, the Buffaloes, they know it's coming as well. That time they did a super job and dropped him for a big loss.
Matt Wethington will attempt the field goal of 46 yards. His career long is 42. Alabama's had trouble in this area this year. Field goal attempt on the opening drive. Wethington. Not enough. Touchback. Alabama comes up empty on the opening drive.
That's life.
You guys around next week? No.
The line of scrimmage is the 28. Let me correct that. They bring it out to the line of scrimmage after Alabama missed the field goal attempt. Hagan throwing right away. Tried to swing it over to James Hill, starting fullback. And there he is, Darian Hagan, the quarterback who has presided over the finest 3-year stretch in Colorado football history. 3 Big 8 titles for Darian Hagan and a national championship. Never lost a Big 8 game as a starter. What about Lamont Warren at tailback?
Well, all he did this year was set a freshman record for CU with 833 yards.
Broke the freshman running record that had been held by O.C. Oliver. On 2nd and 10, Hill fumbled, and Hagan was right there to pick it up.
And Hagan was there because he was carrying out his fake on the triple option there. Gave the ball to the up back and continued down the line of scrimmage. We'll see the fumble here, but watch Hagan. The ball comes right to him, heads up. A lot of players would just stop after he gives the ball to the running back, but Hagan, the senior that he is, heady ball player, was in the right place at the right time.
John Copeland helped strip it from Hill. 3rd down and 8. A lot of shifting now for the Buffaloes with the slot formation to the left. Flag on the field. Jump pass by Hagan, and George Teague almost intercepted for Alabama. Sean Brown was in the area. Check the marker. Colorado will get another crack at it. It'll be 3rd and 3 after the 5-yard step off. And let's check in now with the Buffaloes offensive front. It starts strong at center with Jay Leuenberg, an All-America, consensus All-America this year. But newcomers on the rest of the line, including freshman Clint Moore, sophomore Roger Ivey, Anderson and Hanson are the tackles.
Jim Hanson, all he is a 3.7 GPA in aerospace engineering. How about that? Now that's a real genius.
I'm telling you, he's hoping to be a Rhodes Scholar one day. He's #1 right now in the Colorado School of Engineering, number 77. Jim Hanson, the right tackle. 3rd down and 3 for the Buffs. Another flag, and they sack Hagan. Antonio London came blitzing in on the quarterback. Got turf wedged in the face guard.
Yeah, he got a little turf, but he might also have been offsides. We've seen Colorado do a lot of shifting out of the normal formations, but this one's going to go against the Buffaloes. The biggest problem that McCartney said as far as changing his offense is can he still protect the quarterback? Obviously, they can't protect him this time as Antonio London comes in and picks up his 5th sack of the year.
Well, it was a motion penalty, Dan, against Colorado. The penalty refused, so give the sack to London and bring on the punt team. And there he is, David Palmer, freshman with 3 punt returns for touchdowns, had a 4th one called back this year.
And McCartney told us last night that he will punt to him. He's very proud of his punt coverage team and very confident if he gets a punt that stays up there for 4.5 seconds.
Mitch Berger is the Colorado punter, averaging 41 yards a punt. He was blocked once this year. This one a liner to Palmer at the 34. And a punt that normally he would relish to run back. And he is swung down by Greg Thomas after a 7-yard run back, a 38-yard punt. So each team has had it once. We're scoreless opening quarter. Blockbuster Bowl number 2.
This in 1989, now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Keith, I want to ask you, there are all these reports about Bill Parcells coming to the Bucs as their head coach. Would you be in favor of that? Would you like to have him?
Well, it was a business decision made by the front office, and I'm going whatever they want to do. You know, it'll be great to have him, but who knows what he's going to do.
Okay, you're out here for Alabama tonight. Let me ask you about our game tomorrow. You played against the Bears. You've seen the Cowboys all week. How do you feel about tomorrow's game?
Well, you have to look at the Bears. They are old line. They've been together a long time. They're very experienced. They know how to work together. But Dallas, they're a newborn. They're a newborn team, and they're hungry.
All right, Keith, best of luck to you. Let's go back upstairs to Jim Nantz.
Boy, wasn't he some rushing linebacker at Alabama. Keith McCancy left after his junior year. We just saw a near interception by Deion Figures on a pass intended for Steve Buskey. So the Tide now facing 2nd and 10.
The ball was almost deflected over to his partner there, the deep safety, but trying to hit the tight end down the middle didn't work.
Lassick is in the game, getting the pitch, and a good run for Derek Lassick with a lead block from his fullback Martin Houston and Matt Hammond at left tackle.
We're seeing now Stallings go to his 2nd backfield of Martin Houston and Derek Lassick. Lassick gives the Tide a little different type of runner than Saran Stacy. What you see with Lassick is a guy that changes direction very quickly, very enthusiastic young man, really enjoys playing.
Junior from Haverstraw, New York, averaging over 5 yards a carry. 3rd down and 4 after a 6-yard gainer by Lassick, coming out in motion now. Here come the Buffs. Barker gets it away, and a 1st down catch by Curtis Brown in Colorado territory at the 45.
Wonderful play by Barker as he avoided the rush, bought himself a little bit of time. Watch the blitz come right up the middle here. There's Beeker at 19. And he gets out to the outside away from Johnson. There's his wide receiver open in the middle. But the reason that Barker is playing right now instead of Danny Woodson, Gene Stallings told us, well, it's just common sense. The man has performed the last 3 weeks. All victories, all on the road.
Danny Woodson backs him up tonight. He had started at quarterback the first 8 games. Stacy fumbles the pitch but falls on it. Smothers it near midfield. Chad Brown was there for good measure. A loss of 6. What happened on this one, Dan?
Well, it appeared he was looking upfield. This again is a toss play, Stacy's favorite play. And before he can get his mitts on that one, it went right through the breadbasket, but who can blame him? Staring him right in the eye was Chad Brown. He's got some interesting plans for after this bowl game, huh, Jim?
Got a nice little trip planned to Central America, Costa Rica, for a snaking expedition. We'll have to talk about that a little more. I know you'd like to have joined him. 2nd and 16, and whistle it dead.
Delay a game.
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense. Still 2nd down.
2nd and 21 now for Alabama.
And Alabama showing some of their inexperience. Their youthful team with a freshman quarterback, that's a mistake that has cost Alabama. In fact, Gene Stallings addressed it after the Florida loss. And what they do is very unusual. They have the wide receivers come into the huddle. They call the play. Then Parker gives the snap count to avoid those type of situations. But that time, they were still a little bit too long.
You never heard of anything like that before, have you?
No, I haven't. And we talked to Gene about it.
2nd and 21 pass in the area of Martin Houston.
Gene told us the reason he has the wide receivers go into the huddle and tell the team the play instead of the quarterback is to save a little bit of time so that when he gets to the line of scrimmage, the quarterback can use that extra time to read the defense and make the proper audibles if necessary. Now, this was an innovation that Gene had when he was a tight end player for Raymond Berry Sr. at Paris High School in Paris, Texas. Gene Stallings called all the plays from his tight end position.
That's some story. 3rd down and 21. Houston the single back. And he'll swing it over to Houston. Just getting into Colorado territory, but a punting situation. Greg Beaker on the tackle. 2 possessions for Alabama, 2 times into the Colorado end of the field without points. 8 minutes to go in the scoreless first quarter. Tank Williamson on the punt for Bama. And Darian Hagan fielding the punt and not getting enough room to execute the catch. And it's going to be a flag against Andre Royal of Alabama.
You call it exactly right, Jim. He was within an eyelash of Hagan when Hagan caught the ball. And the referee says you've got to give that man a little bit more room to make that grab.
Pass interference.
I think you got to call this punt receiving interference.
Yeah, pass interference.
Fans didn't quite understand that one.
I think he's going to try again.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Okay, there we go, to clarify. And they explained it to Gene Stallings. He liked the hit. We'll come back with the Buffs' 2nd possession. They go
on how this team has gone the last 3 years. Sophomore, he finished 5th in the Heisman. We go 11-0, play for our first national championship.
We call him Mr. Magic, and he carries a magical attitude with him that, you know, no matter what the odds are, that we can get it done. You know, even when Hagan was out of the game, when he was hurt several times this year, the attitude that he brought has carried over to the whole team. So even when somebody else was in there, we knew that we could get the job done.
The words of teammates Jay Lewinberg and Chad Brown as Hagan throws incomplete on 1st down.
And that's what his teammates say about him. The opponents say he forces us to cover the entire width and depth of the field. The width with the option, the depth with the passing ability.
Here's their eye-bone formation. 2nd down and 10. And the give to Lamont Warren. His first carry, no gain. John Copeland corralled him. One of the great matchups tonight, Danny, is Jay Lewinberg at center for the Buffs against Robert Stewart, the nose man, number 34.
Well, here it is right here. Watch Lewinberg come off this block here on Stewart and push him out of the way. But Stewart, with the quickness, runs himself out of the play, but Lewinberg with the good agility to stay with him and push him by.
And flags everywhere before the snap. Someone from Colorado appeared to move first.
They got Craig Anderson, the left tackle.
Dead ball. False start on the offense.
Both offenses are having trouble, and you can understand why Colorado might have a few problems with their new offensive sets they're using. They are having trouble protecting Hagan, and Hagan has been off the mark so far this evening. 0 for 2.
And he's been sacked 1 time. He faces 3rd and 14. Now they shift everyone out of the backfield. They put 3 receivers in and a man on a wing. And here comes another heavy rush. Coming up from the safety spot, Stacey Harrison.
Now he labels himself as Dirty Harry, and I think he just made his day, Jim, getting that sack. Again, Colorado having all types of trouble protecting the quarterback. From the left side of the screen, you see number 1 sneak up here, and there's just nobody in the backfield to protect the quarterback, and he's got no shot at all as Copeland comes from the right side as well.
Mitch Berger to punt from the end zone to David Palmer. This one a good punt out to the 50. A high step move by Palmer to free himself. Look out! He may take it. He's got to beat the punter. He gets the block ahead. Return for a touchdown. He's done it. David Palmer. Of the year. Remarkable.
And it really was that little high step move there that froze the coverage team of the Buffaloes. And then when he got inside the 20, he had 6 red shirts to take him on in. That poor punter never had a shot, did he?
Oh. Good blocking out ahead. Will Brown took out 2 Buffaloes. Extra point is added. Pick by Wethington, 7-0 Alabama, and take us through it, Dan.
Well, it's the confidence in his own ability that allows him to make this move here. Saw the little hole between Leuenberg there. Now he gets his convoy to the outside. Count the number of red shirts that lead him on into the end zone against the punter.
And Antonio Langham finishes off the punter, takes him out.
52 yards, and you just knew it was a matter of time before Palmer made a play. This is his 8th touchdown of the year. As you said, Jim, his 4th as a punt returner. Remember, he had 1 punt return for a touchdown that was called back. And Bill McCartney was kind of prophetic yesterday when he said that this man, Palmer, is more electrifying than Rocket Ismail.
And he had to face the Rocket the last 2 years in the Orange Bowl. David Palmer. Touchdown returns this year of 56 yards against Vanderbilt, 69 against Tulane, 90-yard run back against LSU, and he opens the scoring tonight in the Blockbuster Bowl with a 52-yard run back.
At 5'9", 165 pounds, they call him the Pocket Rocket. Well, we talked about what it would take to win this ball game, and we talked about special teams, big plays on special teams. Well, we tipped off a little bit because of Dave Palmer's success this year doing just that.
Steve Cole to kick for Alabama. 6:11 remaining in the first. 7-0 tied. Chris Hudson and Charles Johnson standing on the goal line for Colorado. Short kick. We get back to one of the deep returners is Johnson on the run back. And out to the 32 where 5 Alabama players take him out. Joe Robbie Stadium, the second Blockbuster Bowl. Number 8, Alabama, and number 15, Colorado. Our overhead shots tonight from the Goodyear blimp, Spirit of Akron. And are courtesy of Goodyear Tires. Tonight's pilot is Captain Dick Esch from Sunrise, Florida. Heavy to the right, the Buffaloes on first down, and they send Warren out of the backfield. There's another blitz. They had to get it away quickly, and they overthrow Michael Westbrook.
Trying to set up a screen pass that time, and it was like a jailbreak. They got to slow him down a little bit longer than that. Remember, Hagan is only about 5'10".
Could have done 3 jailbreaks already, Dan.
We have 127 members of the Crimson Tide dressed out this evening. There they all are.
And you memorized every single name and number.
Well, I got to about the 119th, and I gave it up because they're starting duplicating numbers on it.
Who is number 111? Yeah, right. Okay, second down and 10. A lot of jumping around.
They're going to get Colorado for a false start here.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, still second down.
Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Jim, Bill McCartney told us yesterday that everybody in Colorado criticized him for kicking to dangerous punt return men. Well, he told us that over the past 10 years, his career at Colorado, that only 4 guys have taken punts back all the way. 3 of them are names you're going to recognize. The Rocket, Barry Sanders, now Palmer. He also said that over the past 8 years, they are +2 on the net return. So they're doing pretty well. Let's go back upstairs.
Hagen's pass is batted and falls incomplete. Yes, that punt return by the Rocket was the controversial one for McCartney, but fortunately for Colorado, it was called back because of a clipping penalty in the game's final minute. Hagen now 0 for 4 passing. He's been sacked twice.
Well, we'll see who knocked that one down. Right in here, watch as he gets his hands up. It's number 94, John Copeland. He bats this ball a long way, too.
Here's Lamont Warren running it back to the original line of scrimmage. George Teague on the tackle, and the Buffs have to punt again.
Now, this is a calculated risk by McCartney going to this new offense, but he's only had 10 days to practice it. 5 days in pads, 5 days without pads. He knew there were some kinks he had to iron out. But right now, his biggest problem is just protecting Darian Hagen. 0 for 4 start for Hagen.
And his other problem is number 2, David Palmer, who awaits another return opportunity. He's going to let this one go. Very favorable bounce for the Buffs. Bama will start inside of its 20. So 1 touchdown, a run back on a punt by David Palmer, and the Tides ahead.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
Running play for Turner. Good run by Kevin Turner, senior fullback, who averages about 6 yards a pop, Dan. That's pretty impressive for your fullback.
And he picks up about 6 on this play, Jim, so he's right on his average. Actually got all the way up to 9 yards, but it's an inside run, a tough run by Turner, but that's his bread and butter. Patterns his game after a couple of great fullbacks in the NFL, Tom Rathman and Brad Muster.
We saw David Palmer come into the game and relay the play, and here on the toss, Saran Stacy with a first down carry out to the 33.
Turner and Stacy work so well in the backfield. The fake by Palmer really takes the attention of the Buff defense, but watch the block here as Turner comes down and opens up the hole, and the Tide picks up the first down. Beautiful block on the linebacker right there.
First down, Alabama. Inside they go with Turner, and he manages 2. Ted Johnson, a freshman, Vista, California, on the hit.
Turner was telling us yesterday that he's having a lot of fun opening his mail these days. When he goes to the mailbox, he sees all these letterheads from the NFL teams. He's one of the guys that expects to be drafted in the NFL because he has decent speed, but he is also an excellent receiver out of the backfield.
His 40th start at Alabama tonight. And 2nd and 8. Stacy only for about a yard. Chad Brown sought him out.
Well, this is like the way it is as you're down in the pits here, Jim. Not a lot of room there as Brown and Johnson go airborne there to bring down Saran Stacy. Short gain.
3rd down and 7. Palmer lined up to the right side. And Greg Thomas, as Barker almost lost the football, but he's ruled down at the 20. Greg Thomas and Eric Hamilton, a safety blitz and a loss of 17.
Oftentimes in a ball game, Jim, you'll see one team do what the other team's doing when the other team's having success. We've seen Alabama come with the safety blitz and sack the quarterback. Well, it's Colorado's time now as they bring both safeties. Eric Hamilton, number 6, was in the backfield as well.
Colorado has a returner who could break one. Darian Hagan. How often have you seen your quarterback running back punts?
And how often do you look forward to punt returns as much as we are this evening?
Really? Did you run back punts very often for the chair? Oh, look at this, a block. A block, and the Buffs are set at the 3-yard line. Ron Wolford came in to knock it down.
Special teams, another big play. This time it's for Colorado. As Wolford gets in there and gets his first block of the year. This is 6 blocks now. Watch Wolford get in here and just smother this ball. Lucky for Alabama, it didn't go in the end zone, but there's just nobody there for number 56. 6 times this year now the Buffaloes have blocked a kick.
That was just a missed assignment. Wolford was never touched, and Williamson never had a chance. So Colorado, first and goal from the 3. They've got Scott Phillips in the backfield, along with Lamont Warren and Michael Westbrook. And Hagan calls timeout.
Had to call timeout. The 25-second clock had almost expired.
I was about to ask you, did you ever run back a punt at any level of football?
No, and I never blocked one either.
Hey, Mama.
Well, let's talk about bowls coming up on CBS Tuesday. UCLA against Illinois, led by Jason Verduzco. The Illini and the Bruins. Illinois, Lou Tepper will make his debut as the Illini coach. And on January 1, Terry Bradshaw will join me for Florida State and Texas A&M. Florida State, 10-2 on the year, led by Casey Weldon against the underrated Texas A&M Aggies. That'll be a great one.
We're seeing 2 young teams here tonight, Jim, but that Aggie team is a young team as well.
Back to Texas A&M, when you take into account the entire top 25, they have the most underclassmen. I'm speaking of freshmen and sophomores, the starters, by far. They have 13 freshmen and sophomores as starters. Colorado is second with 9. Now, here we go. First and goal. Inside they go with Phillips. And he gets to the 1.
The Buffaloes have struggled mightily so far in this first quarter, Jim, but there's nothing like a big play on special teams, especially starting your drive off on the 2-yard line that will pump a little bit of life into the Buffalo offense.
Henry, Phillips, and Warren in the backfield. Again, it's Phillips, straight ahead, touchdown.
Satisfied with just getting that 1 yard either, was he, Jimmy? He wanted to go all the way through that end zone, looking for red shirts to bounce off.
Needed 1, he picked up about 4. Scott Phillips, sophomore from Monument, Colorado. He had 1 touchdown on the regular season. Now the extra point from Harper to tie it, and he does indeed. Scott Phillips, who came to Colorado as an inside linebacker and then switched over to fullback.
Well, let's take a look at Ivy and Hansen right here as the play hits right up the middle to Phillips. And a nice job of the guard, Clint Moore, coming over with the seal block. And there's Phillips looking for red shirts to hit. So many options on this play to defend, but the first thing you got to do against an option offense is stop the fullback. From 1 yard out, there's no way the Tide could hold out Scott Phillips.
Scott looked like Ralphie coming through that line, coming right out of the cage. Special teams, the story in the first quarter, that's for sure. A run back for a touchdown and a block by Colorado to set up their score.
And Colorado really needed that special teams punt block by Wolford, because on offense they are still on the negative side of the column with -2 yards. and yet we've got a tie score. This is Les Steckel on the right of the screen talking to Bill McCartney. Les is calling the plays tonight, and he expects to be named the offensive coordinator very shortly. They have had a lot of success with the old offense, but McCartney wants to move into the 90s with his offense, open it up, multiple formations, a lot of substitutions, and something where he wants to do is just throw the ball.
Many will remember Steckel was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings at the age of 38.
I know the Vikings will never forget it.
David Palmer from the goal line. 14-yard run back. Good coverage downfield. Tony Senna, a senior, makes the hit on the kick coverage. And tomorrow, wild card action on CBS. All get started at 12 noon Eastern with the NFL Today. The Cowboys back in the playoffs, and Jimmy Johnson and Mike Ditka will duel for the first time. The winner of that game will be taking on Detroit in the divisional round of the playoffs, as Atlanta's victory today over the Saints clinched the Falcons' next appearance. It'll be against Washington next Saturday. The 15, Derek Vlasic. Nice cut and a hard-earned 3 or 4 yards.
You think about that ball game coming up tomorrow, Jim, and I know the Bears, or the Bears, were hoping for the Bear weather, but they're not going to get it. The Cowboys will come in there to Soldier Field and play in very pleasant 45-degree weather, and that has to concern the Bears. They were murdered by San Francisco the last game of the season, and the Cowboys are the hottest team in football.
Well, the most points Mike Ditka's ever allowed, seeing one of his teams allow.
I wouldn't want to have been at practice this week as a member of the Bears.
2nd and 7, and they get to Barker again, and it's Wolford, the punt blocker.
The Alabama cheer after the next play for coaches. Alabama cheer after the next play.
Watch this man right here. You think the football is a tough game here. Watch as this helmet goes flying off. It's Jeff Bruner right there in the middle, and he had help.
That's brutal for Bruner. 3rd and 12. Quarterback draw in the game plan, and that will run out the first quarter. We'll start the second with a punting situation, and that's where all the action has taken place so far in this Blockbuster Bowl, with the score after 1. Colorado 7, Alabama 7. Will return to the Blockbuster Bowl after this message and a word from your local station. Along with Dan Fouts and Jim Gray, Andrea Joyce will be along at halftime. 7-7 our score as we start the second quarter. And again, Dan, all of the excitement so far has happened in punting situations. And here's another guy who could break one, Darian Hagan.
And wouldn't you know it, he'd love to put one in the end zone. This is about the same spot on the field that Palmer returned his for the 52-yarder.
Colorado was trying to set up a return. Short punt by Williamson, and Hagan will just let it go. So very favorable bounce for Williamson to help the stats, and backs up the Buffs to the 34-yard line. We're sideline bound right now to our man Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Jim, the All-American center for the University of Colorado, Jay Leuenberg, is a diabetic. He injects himself twice a day with insulin. Now, he's been living with this condition for 10 years, and it really doesn't affect his football. But at halftime, he'll go in and take a little blood sample, check his blood sugar, and he'll adjust because of the stress that it can affect his diabetes. So he's got a lot to look after in this high humidity, but the trainers are not worried right now. Let's go back upstairs.
Again, without a single back, Hagan fires it over to Henry, and off the mark on that one, and Darian continues to struggle in the passing game.
And this time there's no pressure on him. He's been sacked twice, but he's still looking for his first completion. And right now you just feel that he's struggling. He's not comfortable in this offense, and that brings up a question: if he continues to struggle, will McCartney replace him with Vance Joseph?
Lamont Warren is the single running back. He'll run it, but he is trapped for a 1-yard loss. Jeremy Nunley coming in for John Copeland and making a nice play for the Tide. So they junked the iPhone tonight. It's a whole new setup offensively for Colorado, and here's a look at it, Dan.
Well, very unusual. There's 3 wide receivers, but the problem is not in where they're putting people. It's the guys up front. Those front 5 on the offensive line are not doing the job, either pass protection or run blocking.
3rd and 11. Hagan has a little more time, but he'll still scramble out of there with it and come up shy of the first at the 40.
Now that's the best play for Darian Hagan, because what this offense allows is more room for him to use his running ability. That time he had a nice gain. The unfortunate thing is he had so far to go for the first down.
The Colorado punting unit hustled onto the field almost before Palmer could get into place. Look at him again with a stutter step move, but Chad Brown wrestles him down right away. 48-yard punt by Berger and a 4-yard run back with a flag.
The key to that coverage that time was the ball was about a 4.5-second hang time. McCartney feels that if he gets that type of hang time, that his players can get down underneath it, and he doesn't have to worry about a big return.
There's a clip during a run back. Penalty will be enforced. Half the distance from the spot. First down.
Well, that will take Alabama inside of its own 10-yard line. Offensively, it's been somewhat like we expected, Dan. It's 7-7 at the start of the second quarter. We'll be right back.
This is the
played for the Bear at A&M. Was an assistant for Bryant for 7 years at Alabama. Then took over the head coaching job at Texas A&M in the 60s. 12-year assistant for Tom Landry and the Cowboys, and later the head coach of the Cardinals. The last year in St. Louis and 3 years in Phoenix. First down, Alabama from the 8. Pump fake by Barker. Look out. Might have lost it. Chad Brown was there. Recovered by Alabama's Hammond. Matt Hammond fell on it. It was indeed a fumble.
Yeah, that's no place to be on the field, pump fake, and when you're on the 1-yard line, a lot of bad things can happen here. He's got to get rid of the ball on his first choice here. That fake's okay, but it's this one that gets him in trouble. When he pulls it down, time runs out. Chad Brown, number 34, is there from the blind side to knock it loose.
Chad Brown, an active first half for the junior from Pasadena. Used to sell programs at the Rose Bowl as a youngster. Toby Shields, the starting center for Alabama, being helped to the sidelines after a 6-yard loss on the last play.
George Wilson will now move over to the center position from his left guard position.
2nd and 16, Bama from the 1. Look out, that's a safety. Martin Houston is stuffed. Brian Dyatt and Ted Johnson.
Trying to go right up the middle, Jim, and with the change in the offensive line, you see Johnson right there. He steps forward, and with help down low by Renfro. Actually, it's Brian Dyatt down there. He makes the big play, the old high and low, a 2-pointer for Colorado.
Ted Johnson, a surfer from California. Looking forward to finishing up the bowl game, going home. Says when I get back there, I'm going to get the stick out and see if I can find some waves. Well, he's made some waves in the second quarter. A 2-point safety, 9-7 Buffaloes.
Yeah, from Southern California, just outside of San Diego. He's got the best of both worlds, doesn't he? Skiing there at Colorado this time of year, then he goes out to San Diego. That's the first Colorado safety of the year. And what the Buffaloes have been able to do with field position is what they've been unable to do with their offense. Special teams has made the plays for them, and now their defense comes up with 2 points.
That Alabama series set up by good punt coverage by Chad Brown and a penalty tacked onto it, a clipping call that backed Alabama inside of the 10. And they retreated from there.
Now the Buffalo offense should get good field position as Alabama's forced to kick from the 20.
Hank Williamson with the free kick off the side of the foot, fumbled at the 50, but fell on by Colorado.
Just when we started winning.
They circled that one a year in advance. Now from the 50, a short gain by James Hill, the fullback, 2 yards.
This is the 6th time now that Colorado has had a first down play in their second run. We saw graphically that they're not doing too well offensively. They have 9 points with just 3 yards. But they have gone away from their traditional eye-bone offense to a more wide-open, multi-dimensional type of offense, but it not yet worked out the kinks in that offense.
Eric Curry is down for Alabama. He banged up his leg in practice here this week. Jeremy Nunley has already come in to replace him. Curry says, hey, I'm fine. I'll walk it off.
Well, it happens so often. You just get tangled up in some of these piles here, and especially when you have all this beef coming down on top of you. There's Curry, number 80, to the bottom of the screen there, and he got the worst of that pile up.
Beef Curry?
Kind of spicy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you bet.
2nd down and 8. Michael Westbrook in the game and running the option. Hagan high stepping for only 2. The Colorado offense of old, that play.
You wonder how long McCartney will stay with his new offense, or will he go back to the traditional eye-bone where he features the option play by Hagan. But he told me before the game, he said, this is our new offense. We're going to stick with the changing of wide receivers, open it up a little bit, and give Colorado football a new look.
3rd down and 6. Lamont Warren on the delay, smothered at the 42 by John Sullins, short of the 1st.
But McCartney is now, he's playing a field position type of game. He's satisfied with having his punter, Berger, kick the Tide deep in their own end and keep David Palmer as far away from the other end zone as possible.
Berger boots it into the end zone. Sure, they would have liked to have kept him inside the 20, but when you got Palmer back there, you just kick it away from him. We'll take the touchback. Bama comes out to the 20. Colorado leads without a first down in the game.
Where do you go for the most frightening movies on video?
Struggle and a real struggle for these teams offensively, but not surprising when you rate the top defense, Division 1A this year. Alabama 3rd in points allowed, and Colorado had a high figure as well. Their defensive coordinator, a good one, Mike Hankwitz.
He said the key to tonight's game for his defense is the play of his outside linebackers, Woolfolk and Chad Brown. Both of them have come up big a couple of times.
Hankwitz was a linebacker and a tight end at the University of Michigan about 20 years ago.
And if you want to really break down some stats, Jim, Alabama's rushed 16 times now for 1 yard. That's 2 inches per rush. So the Tide is not quite rolling yet.
Actually 2.2 inches, isn't it?
Thank you, Jim.
First from the 20. Palmer in motion. Fake the toss and get it over to Palmer. Stretches it out to the 30, near the 1st. Ronnie Bradford had him by the ankle.
Well, Palmer's the leading receiver for the Tide, and Jay Barger is playing a solid football game as he has the last 3. Common sense told Gene Stallings that he's going to be his quarterback tonight. If he struggles, though, don't be surprised if we see Danny Woodson. So far, he hasn't struggled.
2nd down and inches. Stacy goes down the line for a moment, then cuts in for the first to the 34. Broke away at first from Chad Brown. Rand Stacy closing his Alabama career tonight. What a huge season he had back in '89 when he rushed for over 1,000 yards. Led Bama to the Sugar Bowl that year. He'll close out the career ranked 6th all time in rushing for Alabama. Parker at good time now comes out of the pocket. Gain of about 3. Brian Diet got to him first.
Parker is just a freshman, and one thing that senior Kevin Turner told us about him yesterday was that he's a tough young man, and he's not afraid to stick his head in there. The one thing he has to learn as a quarterback is when to slide. You saw that time he was going for every inch.
Yeah, he says if you don't learn to slide, you won't stay around for your full 4 years. Wisdom from fullback Turner, a senior. They fake the reverse, and Stacy, he leaps for the first at the 46. That froze him. They were threatening to go with the reverse to Palmer, and that stopped the Colorado defense long enough for the big game.
Well, this is a really good fake, because this is number 2 on the fake reverse, and the key to it is that after the fake, Palmer continues to run as if he has the ball. That allows Stacy to get to the corner and pick up just enough yards for the first down. But you can see Stallings is getting Palmer more involved in the offense.
10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Saran Stacy on first down. Good blocking for him. Into Colorado territory. Inside of the 40 and down at the 30-yard line. Matt Hammond cleared out the left side for Saran Stacy.
Stacy is such a determined runner. That 22-yarder, really he should have only got half of that, because Greg Thomas, number 27 for Colorado, had him pretty good. We're going to see an outstanding block by fullback Kevin Turner that gets Stacy to the corner. He's in motion here, pins the linebacker to the inside, and now watch the strength of Stacy pull away from Greg Thomas.
David Palmer downfield with a block, and coming in at the last second was Roosevelt Patterson. Not this time for Alabama. 1-yard loss.
You see number 56 out there, Woolfolk, and he knows the right number to wear. That's the number, obviously, of Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. And I think every young outside linebacker playing in high school or college stands in line and prays that the equipment staff gives him that number. Woolfolk is playing like LT so far tonight.
Second down and 12. Deep pitch. Into round with Palmer, only to the 30. And that 56 has been a popular number, not only because of LT, but Matt Swilling and Chris Dolman, Harvey with the Cardinals. I mean, it's really becoming the linebacker's number of choice.
Jeff Lageman, who's a converted linebacker for the Jets, has got his team in the playoffs tomorrow. But that number, you have to back it up with performance, and all those fellas you mentioned, Jim, are outstanding players as well.
Third down and 9. Bama from the 30 of Colorado. Look out. They get him. And a football free fell on by Kevin Turner. You could see him coming in from the right side. Beekert and Wolford on the smash.
Well, the Buffs have 38 sacks on the year coming in, 2 so far this evening. This is real close to another one. Again, it's the safety from the outside, Greg Thomas, 6'2", 220 pounds. Packs a big wallop on the quarterback.
And that play took Alabama out of field goal range. 4th sack here in the first half for Colorado as Eric Hamilton is helped to the sideline. So Tank Williamson is in. It's a punt near the 50. Hagan raises a hand. That football may have touched him.
But it went out of bounds, so it doesn't matter. But he was awfully close, too close, I'm sure. for McCartney.
It was out of bounds at the 1. Inside of the 1. Let's go to our colleague Jim Gray with a special guest. Jim?
Proud of what's happened to your son David, who was named the head coach yesterday. In fact, the headlines right here in the Miami paper, Shula and son. What about David's appointment to the Bengals?
Very proud, and I'm just glad that he's getting the opportunity. He's worked hard, and he's going to do a good job up there. Cincinnati is a fine football team, and I know that Dave has wanted the opportunity to be a head coach, and Mike Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals are giving him that opportunity, and I'm a proud father.
Jim Nantz?
I'm sure he is a proud papa indeed. The great Don Shula from the 1, Colorado, trying to get some room with James Hill. Maybe a yard is all.
Not a whole lot of running room up the middle here for the Buffaloes. You see the fake by Lamont Warren, and there's the handoff inside, and the Tide is just there to swallow that one for about a half-a-yard gain.
Lamont Warren has not seen any room tonight. A mid-season find, rushed for over 800 yards. Dangerous pass by Hagan, still off the mark at the 5-yard line.
That ball might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Hagan is 0 for 6. Midway through the second quarter, 7:29 remaining. Colorado 9, Alabama 7. Colorado still looking for its first down. 3rd and 9, and coming up short is Warren at the 8. George Teague, the free safety for Bama, makes the tackle at the 8. Colorado will punt from the end zone. Same kind of situation on the field where David Palmer ran the punt back in the first quarter for an Alabama touchdown. Leuenberg to snap it to Berger. This is one that can be returned. Watch it. Ran to the near side of the field, and a 9-yard run back after a 43-yard punt. Let's go back to Jim Gray.
All right, Don, continuing. There have been so many changes in the NFL. 8 of your peers have left their jobs since the end of the season, particularly Chuck Noll. What's your thoughts on all these changes?
Well, that's really disturbing to me because there are a lot of fine football coaches that are out there now without jobs. And as a coach, you'd like to see everybody get full opportunity to either do it or not do it. And I don't know if some of them have had full opportunity. You hate to see a guy like Chuck Noll bow out, Chuck Knox, you know, just one of the excellent football coaches that I've known or coached against. And then some of the younger coaches are also out of work. So I hope everything gets straightened out and that these staffs get resolved.
All right, Don, we'll continue with you and Mike in just a moment. Jim Nantz.
Chad Brown a little gimpy on the punt return coverage. Rodell Guest will come in now, outside linebacker for Colorado to replace him.
You know, Jim, I've had a lot of thrills in my playing career for the San Diego Chargers, but in my broadcasting career, I was lucky enough to be here for Don Shula's 300th win, and believe me, that was a great thrill to see probably the greatest coach of all time pick up that wonderful milestone.
The 44 this time. They do run the reverse with Lee, Kevin Lee. And they'll lose tremendous yardage is Ron Wolford. Tackles him back at the 42. That's a 13-yard loss. Wolford has been the star tonight for Colorado. A sack, that big tackle for a loss, and a blocked punt. Again, it's a defensive play for
either team, they're just dominating the line of scrimmage. The outside play of the linebackers for Colorado has been the difference so far.
He sends Stacy out as a receiver on 2nd and 23. Another big play defensively. Chad Brown sits out one play, comes right back, and reads that play perfectly.
He's a tough guy, Jim. I mean, the guy has 16 snakes or something in his room back in Boulder. Number 34 from the left side of the screen is just going to smother Stacy in the backfield.
You know what that's called?
What's that?
According to Robert Wool, a saran wrap. As he took Stacy one-on-one. Third down, and Parker going long for Lee. Deion Figures, excellent coverage for Colorado.
Wonderful coverage as he cut Lee off, as Lee had designs on cutting inside and making that grab, but that was a big league play by Deion Figures, number 2. Watch him cut Lee off right here. Looks for the ball at the last moment and prevents a big gain for Alabama.
Tank Williamson driving punt. Hagan now will have a return opportunity. Very short one at that. Coming right in on him was Andre Royal. He committed a personal foul to start the game on a punt coverage situation. That time he gave Hagan enough room and made a nice tackle. Back over to Jim Gray with the Shulas.
All right, Jim. Mike Shula, you played for the University of Alabama, left in 1986. You're now an assistant coach with your father. You've got a decision to make. Who are you going to go with, your brother or your father?
Wait a minute, he's with me now. What do you mean, who's he going to go with?
Well, I think right now it's you know, something we haven't really talked about, but it certainly would be an honor to be considered for a coaching opportunity there. But I'm very happy here at Miami to be home with the Dolphins and with my father and my sisters.
Well, maybe we'll have a trio in the NFL not too far away. Thanks to both of you. Congratulations to the Shulas. Jim Nance.
Well, we saw a running play for Scott Phillips that netted 1 yard. Phillips scored the Colorado touchdown from a yard out in the first quarter. All the way back at the 12. Lemansky Hall on Lamont Warren.
Well, the Tide is saying, hey, listen, we got some outside linebackers too. Number 11 is Hall. Here he is right here. Watch as he gets up the field again. Nobody to block Lemansky Hall. And he drops Warren for a big loss. Just gets inside the block there, or the attempted block by Mark Henry.
3rd and 18. Interception at the 50. Mark McMillan. Mark McMillan inside of the 20. Mark McMillan near the goal line. A yard shy. Jim Hansen made the stop for Colorado, but the Tide is just inches away from the goal line after a 49-yard run back.
Oh, giving it his best Deion Sanders imitation, and he gets walloped from behind by a teammate. But I talked to McMillan on the field before the ball game, and this ball is just poorly thrown, underthrown by Hagan as he's trying to hit the wide receiver at the top of the screen all the way down the field. McMillan had to come back on this ball as it starts to whack a little bit, and now he picks up the convoy down to the 1 yard line.
Everyone in tight. Straight ahead for Bama. Did Stacy make it? No. You know, McMillan had an interception this year against Tennessee Chattanooga and ran it back 98 yards for a touchdown, an Alabama school record. He almost had another one tonight.
And I was checking with him on how he pronounces his name, because it could go McMillian, but he says it's McMillan, and be ready to call it a lot tonight. I'm going to have a big night.
Well, he was prophetic, wasn't he? 2nd and goal. Eric Lassick hit right away after the exchange. Chad Brown breaking through.
That's our snake charmer. He's getting into it with everybody.
And a a late flag as there was some shoving going on after the whistle.
He just crashes in from the left side. Got a lot of help underneath. That penetration of the Buffaloes was the key.
Dead ball, personal foul on the offense, third down.
Those just do no good at all. I mean, they're just useless.
So the only thing that they could do in that situation is have the players sit out of play. In that way, you're penalizing both teams and both players for engaging in that type of activity. But by having offsetting penalties, so what?
Yeah. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Colorado 9, Alabama 7. 3rd and goal. Stacy tries to reverse his field. Ron Wolford makes the play again for the Buffs.
Watch from the bottom of the screen. Again, it's an outside linebacker, Wolford, that gets the penetration and forces Stacy back inside where all those gold helmets are. The Tide started this drive on the 1-yard line after that interception, and now they've got to settle for a field goal.
Wethington from 25. Jeff Wall on the hold. And just barely. Ooh.
Those goalposts are 18 feet 6 inches apart, and he used every bit of that.
Bama with its 4th trip into Colorado territory, and they come away with a field goal, starting the drive from inside of the 1. With Jim Gray, Andrea Joyce coming up at halftime. She'll be joined by Mike Francesa. Talk about this coaching carousel that has been changing on a daily basis. Get an update on the playoff situation from earlier today. Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will be with us as well. It's coming up at halftime.
Well, Jim, we predicted it would be a defensive struggle this evening. Big plays by special teams and defense. Colorado on total offense just 10 yards. Alabama not much better with 71 yards. But they blew a big opportunity that time to get a touchdown. After McMillan's return took the ball all the way to the 1-yard line, they retreated before they kicked the field goal to go ahead. Colorado still without a first down.
Amazing. Colorado's points on a safety and a 3-yard drive set up by Ron Wolford's blocked punt. Charles Johnson is back along with Chris Hudson. Waiting for the kick from Cole. Johnson from the 13. Quick burst out to the 34. Irving spikes. Spotted him at the 34. We've got wild card action tomorrow on CBS. The Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. 12 Eastern time with the NFL Today. Greg and Terry, along with Leslie and Pat O'Brien. And then Pat Summerall and John Madden will call the Cowboys and the Bears tomorrow on CBS. The winner of that game plays Detroit. Everybody shifting out of the backfield. Watch the Buffs 2-minute drill. Flag on the field as Hagan comes back. Gets a hard-earned 2. Steve Webb manning that side. Alabama was offside, so they'll play the down over. 1st and 5 for Colorado, and this man, Dan Fouts, wanted to showcase Darian Hagan tonight. I don't think this is the way he meant to do it.
But he knew that he would have some problems because of the...
On the defense, still first down.
Because of the lack of practice time, just 10 practices before this game, and to expect his players to assimilate a brand new offense. And he told us he was worried of whether or not they could protect Hagan, give him time to throw. So far, that hasn't been the case.
Phillips and Warren in the backfield. Hagan on the run, completes the pass to Michael Westbrook.
But the one thing about the Colorado offense, with Darian Hagan leading it, they're one of the best 2-minute offenses in football, college football. That's Hagan's first completion of the day to a teammate.
And Colorado's first down, a gain of 16. Right you are, Dan, about Darian Hagan in a 2-minute drill. In his career, he's had 23 opportunities in the 2-minute situation. 17 times he directed the team to scores. This pass well behind Westbrook, trying to hook up with him back-to-back plays.
And the reason he's been successful is because he has that magic type of personality, very confident. He's a good leader. His teammates look to him for leadership. Obviously, that's something every quarterback should provide. And this is where it exemplifies itself, is in the 2-minute offense when the quarterback is in complete control.
2nd and 10, play action. Zips it over for a reception, not a first down, but a pass to the 40 and a gain of 5. It was Sean Brown, his tight end, and the Colorado leading receiver on the season. That magical season of '89 for the Buffaloes. Hagan had 9 chances, 9 times he drove his team for scores in the last 2 minutes, as Lamont Warren heads to the locker room early. Play action on 3rd and 5, and Hagan, with a flag on the field, fires on the run, incomplete.
They're going to get one of the Buffaloes for holding. So this drive is going to end just about right here, because Alabama will refuse it, bringing up 4th down.
1 first down for Colorado in the half. It happened a moment ago on the pass play, 16 yards to Michael Westbrook. And Mark McMillan is shaken up for Alabama. Dan, the interception maker a series ago.
It appears he has a cramp. This is the type of move that trainers put on a player, that muscle in the back of the leg, the hamstring there, tightens up, so they try to straighten that leg out.
Push on the offense, 10 yards from the spot on the ball.
Well, they're going to accept this penalty because the foul occurred about 10 yards deep in the backfield. So this penalty, when you add the 10 yards because of the penalty, adds up to about a 20-yard penalty.
Yep, from the 40 of Alabama back to the Buffalo 40. Sam Shade is in to replace McMillan, who is still down on the field. Colorado will have 3rd and 25 coming up.
The one thing about McCartney and his offense is back in 1985 at Colorado, he brought in the wishbone formation. Then he changed it to the I bone in '89. And now he's going to this multiple formation where he'll use different sets, more like a pro style of offense. And he wants to get a jump start, a head start on 1992 season. He figures with the 10 days of practice he's had leading up to this game, when he's got spring practice, then fall double days, when he heads into that first game next year, he's going to have this offense well tuned. He will certainly have a lot of kinks to work out of it at halftime. But one thing he told us, he's going to stick with it. This is the look that Colorado Buffalo football will have in the 90s.
Sam Shade is in. Yeah, the first part of the McCartney regime at Colorado, they passed it a lot, but he had a two-win season, 4-7 season, a 1-10 year. That's when he made the change. And look at Hagan now showing some arm strength. Pass is out of bounds. Darnell Brooks, a backup tailback, was going up against Sam Shade, who had just entered the game. A tremendous effort down the sidelines by Brooks.
Yeah, look at him concentrate on that ball. And if he could have taken one more step, he would have had a huge gain for Colorado.
Chance for another look at David Palmer before the half. We have 1 minute, 6 seconds to go before the intermission. Bama leads it by 1, 10-9.
And Alabama has all 3 timeouts.
Palmer accounted for Alabama's touchdown. If you just joined us, a 52-yard punt return in the first quarter. Bouncing at the 25, and Palmer lets it go. 24-yard line is where the Tide will start this series. 36 yards on the punt, no return. I think Alabama is still smarting from their performance in last year's Fiesta Bowl against Louisville. They were blown out by the Cardinals in that game, and many of the players mentioned to us this week that that's been in the back of their mind. They want to make up for that sad performance last January 1. Let's watch the young gun for Alabama. Barker will get it back on the flea flicker. No, he'll not have the opportunity. Colorado will be set up. Joel Steed on the recovery. Chris Anderson ladled it back to the quarterback.
The tough thing about trying to run a flea flicker is you have to have the first part of it going well for you. Alabama hasn't had a whole lot of success running this sweep play, and yet they try to pitch it back on the flea flicker, but there's nobody that's faked out on the play. Colorado came with a straight pass rush. Watch as Barker gets the ball back. There's the hit right there by Bruner. Greg Biekert as well in there, and Steve picks up the recovery.
From the 15. Lined up in the eye. Short drop by Hagan, going to the corner. Too deep. Westbrook was the intended receiver. He's a tall, rangy freshman, is Michael Westbrook.
Well, Jay Lewenberg knows that if he wants to play in the pros, he has to be a good pass protector. He does a wonderful job that time on Robert Stewart. This ball is just going to be thrown too far, but that could be called pass interference there on Sam Shade, as he is guarding and never really giving a chance for Westbrook. The official must have determined that the ball was going to be caught out of bounds, or that should have been pass interference.
And they get to Hagan for the 3rd time. John Copeland. Timeout for the Buffaloes with 22 seconds before halftime.
The big thing McCartney has to worry about now is not to have another sack. He might be well advised to just run the ball, get in field goal position. And you talk about field goal position now for the Buffaloes. They've had all kinds of problems in that area of their football team as well this year. Had a few blocked.
Let's check out defending national champions and how they fare the year after the title. Of course, last year was a split vote. Colorado won 1 poll, Georgia Tech the other. Tech already with a victory in the Aloha Bowl, finishes 8-5 on the year. The year before that, Miami was 10-2. Notre Dame, Miami, those are impressive marks. Penn State, remember that '86 season? Came out of the gates with 3 straight losses that year and finished 8-4.
And Colorado this year started out 2-2, and McCartney went back to square one. Had a very rough couple of weeks of practice, got things straightened out, and put his team in position to tie for the Big 8 title.
How do you like these rushing totals in the game so far, Dan? Colorado 17 rushing attempts for 4 yards. In Alabama, 29 rushing attempts for 3 yards. How many inches per carry is that now?
I thought you were reading my career rushing stats there for a minute.
3rd down from the 21, 3rd and 16. Buffs have 1 timeout remaining. Quarterback draw for Hagan, and a jarring blow at the 15 by Michael Rogers. Flags are everywhere and the players threatening to leave the bench area.
Well, John Sullins of Alabama ripped Clint Moore's helmet off. Clint didn't like it too much and went after him. Now, if this is offsetting penalties, the Buffs will be in good shape for the field goal. But you just never know how the officials are going to call this one. Sullins is number 90 and Moore number 66. There's the action right there as Hagan is going to take a big lick here, but it's on the left side of the screen here. Sullins just pulls on the face mask and rips it off the head of Clint Moore. Oh, the officials missed one there.
Offsetting penalties called.
I just told her right there.
But Sullins clearly grabbed the face mask of Clint Moore and pulled the helmet right off his head.
Dead ball offsetting penalty, so it's 4th down. Gene Stallings says, oh, come on. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't rip a helmet off a guy's head.
Well, that's a senior in Sullins taking advantage of a true freshman in Clint Moore.
Colorado let the clock work down to 4 seconds. They'll end the half with a field goal attempt. Jim Harper has had 7 kicks blocked in his career. Very low trajectory. This season, Harper was 8 for 13. This will be a 33-yard attempt that could put the Buffs ahead at halftime.
And you know, with having 7 block kicks in his career, it's amazing he has a career.
That's true. Here's a guy who has feasted on blocked field goals this season. In one stretch, 3 consecutive games for Antonio London.
He got Tennessee, he got Mississippi State, and he got LSU. 3 in a row.
Colorado's made it exciting out of field goal formation this year. Remember the fake that they pulled off against Oklahoma State to win that game at the end? Robbie James, who threw the touchdown in that game to Christian Fourier, is the holder.
And Alabama has called timeout to make Mr. Jim Harper think about this field goal. This is the type of action you see at the end of ball games.
Tell him be ready for the fake. You ain't gonna be able to block 2 of those.
Be ready for the fake. Famous last words.
You make sure the secondary don't come no damn fake.
Stay on the line.
I think many followers of college football are still in disbelief at that call by McCartney, one of the gutsiest calls ever. Needing a field goal to beat Oklahoma State in the closing seconds, he bypassed the kick and tried a fake field goal, and the pass was completed to Fourier for a victory on the road. Alabama assistants wise to the possibility of the fake, warning Stacey Harrison, who has relayed it to the rest of his team in the huddle.
And you know, the Buffaloes know a little bit about putting a kicker on ice. Remember that Nebraska game? McCartney called 3 straight timeouts before they went and blocked the potential game winner for Nebraska.
Greg Thomas got that block. Here's a 33-yard attempt for Harper to give Colorado the halftime lead. Harper delivers. That's the end of the first half with the score. Colorado 12, Alabama 10. CBS Sports coverage of the Blockbuster Bowl will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the Blockbuster Bowl is more movies than anyone in the world. Lata at Hasik. My doctor said my Lata. And by Norwegian Cruise Line.
Colorado leading, although they managed only 1 first down in the first half. Let's get the word now from Coach Bill McCartney visiting with our Jim Gray.
Bill, you guys have the lead, so you have to feel fortunate, but you've installed a new offense tonight that's accumulated only 31 yards and 1 first down. Will you stick with it here in the second half, or will you change?
We're going to stick with what we're doing. It's tough to do it in a short time, but this will help us. We'll go into spring football. We'll keep working on it, and then we'll go into the fall, and we'll be better. We'll have trouble moving on them with whatever we were going to do, so we decided to go ahead and make the change now.
Quite a test for a ball. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, Dan, he's committed to it, as you said, taking it into the 90s, his offense, and it all starts tonight.
And it all started with Ralphie. We look at the second half, Jim, and I think the big thing you got to look forward to is they've got to improve these stats. Remember, the game started with Ralphie stumbling out of the cage as she took her first lap around the field. Well, this new offense has stumbled as well.
Well, we've even broken it down for you to inches per carry in the first half. Dan, that seems to be your favorite stat of the night. We can't talk in terms of yards per rush. Colorado, 22 inches per rush. Alabama, a measly 4.
Well, you asked me if I knew what those stats were. There you have it.
28 total plays with no gain or a loss of yardage. Colorado to start the second half with possession. Hudson on the run back. Out to the 35. Sam Shade on the hit.
See what type of adjustments the Buffaloes have made for their pass protection. Hagan just completing 1 pass in that first half, got 2 completed actually, but he's been under all types of pressure from that Alabama front. 2 out of 12 for Hagan in that first half.
Mark McMillan is in the secondary for Alabama. He was hurt just before the half. Here's Brooks, backup tailback, his first rush, and he'll lose yardage. 29 plays in the game now for no gain or less. Curry and Copeland. Curry also returning to the Alabama lineup after being helped off the field at one time. We should point out for Colorado, they lost their offensive coordinator between the last game and the preparation for this bowl game. Gary Barnett, offensive coordinator, is named the head coach at Northwestern. Second down pass play. Hagan way out of bounds, and ooh, one assistant really paid for it. I hope the gentleman is going to be all right, but
well,
Dan, he took a big blow there.
Yeah, he took the big blow, and then he hit the back of his head on the ground. And never saw Westbrook. Was looking at the ball. Watch this collision by one of the Alabama assistant coaches here on the sidelines, trying to get out of the way, but watch what happens after the hit. That really
boy.
smarts. My goodness. This is Mal Moore, the assistant head coach of offense. And he got hit by Teague and Westbrook. Let's hope he's all right.
Mal Moore, a long-time Alabama man, a coach for some 20 years on the staff with the Bear, quarterback of the Orange Bowl team from Alabama back in '62. One of the quarterbacks. Gene Stallings brought him onto the staff as soon as he was named the coach 2 years ago.
And he coached with Gene in Phoenix with the Cardinals.
Third down for Colorado, 3rd and 12. Another jump pass in the area of the tight end, Sean Brown.
And I'm not sure that Hagan means to jump when he throws this ball, but you got to remember he's only about 5'10". Giving Mal the old smelling salts on the sidelines. It's a good sign that he's up. He's going to have a heck of a headache though this evening.
Berger with a big high boomer. Great punt. Backs Palmer to the 7. 2 or 3 guys take a shot at him, and everyone else converges thereafter.
Now that hesitation move, that dead leg stop and go that he worked so well that first punt of the evening, he's not getting very far with it now.
Not this time.
Can't believe he broke it at the company picnic.
Incredible. Our employee health plan covers him, right?
Not deductibles or co-payments.
So he has to lay out his own money.
Gaps in your health plan can be costly. Aflac can help. Aflac is a leader in supplemental insurance with 35 years of dependable service. Today, employees of over 80,000 companies count on Aflac for the peace of mind to get on with life.
Any ideas?
Yeah, Aflac.
Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide.
There's something special about driving a Daihatsu from Japan. Whether it's the reliability, high mileage, and comfort of our affordable Daihatsu Charades, or the versatile performance of our Rocky wide-track 4x4, you'll feel like the whole town is going to light up and really take notice. It's how we make them. Daihatsu.
Where do you go for the most frightening movies on video? The most sports videos? The most action and adventure? Comedy? Just take off for Blockbuster Video and take home whatever you want, because we have more movies than anyone in the world or anywhere else.
Mal Moore is back up on the sidelines, the assistant coach for Alabama. Just spoke to him. He said he's okay. He took a blow to his head, got some smelling salts, lost his balance a little bit, lost where he was in the stadium for a second, but now he's all right. Says he's going to be back coaching. Let's go back upstairs to Jim.
He's going to set a real example to his Alabama team. He's going to coach hurt.
Yeah, you don't see that happen very often, but I guarantee you he has a slight concussion at least after that blow.
First down, burst. Saran Stacy across the 30 to the 43-yard line. Run out by Ronnie Bradford, 33 yards for Stacy.
This is a real basic football play for Alabama. It's the old lead play. Watch the fullback lead Stacy up the middle in a big hole as the Colorado linebackers run out of the way. Nice block by Turner on Beekert. And now the inspiration of Mal Moore gets Stacy Saran 33 yards on first down.
15 carries for 60 yards for Saran Stacy. And again, working the middle for a nice gain. Give him 6 on that one.
Boy, and when you see a running back go straight up the middle, hit the inside linebacker head on, as Stacy hit Rodney Helton that time, and then drag him forward, that's a big play psychologically for the Alabama offense, because they drive one of those tough inside plugging linebackers onto his back.
Second down and 4. Stacy, first down inside of the 40. He's headed for a 100-yard game the way he's going now. 13 more for Saran Stacy. Lead block by Kevin Turner.
Well, Turner and Stacy have worked together a lot in their career at Alabama, and it's good teamwork here as Turner just turns out Beekert. Big hole up the middle again, and basically it's just sound, straight-ahead football for Alabama. They tried the toss play wide earlier in this game. They've made the adjustment at halftime, and they're going right at the Colorado defense.
Derek Lassick now in at tailback on first down. They play action fake to Lassick. Barker flings it complete to Lee to the 10.
When you run the ball well, the next thing you want to do is to come with a little play-action pass. Watch the fake, same formation, the I formation, faking the ball up the middle to Stacy. Look, there's no pass rush at all because they were worried about that fake. And Barker throws his best pass of the evening, sets up the Tide offense at the 10-yard line.
This Alabama team responding now after the blow to their offensive coordinator and quarterback coach Mal Moore. Best drive of the night, and first down run for 3 is Stacy. Cut under by Ted Johnson. You know, you talked about Barker looking sharp on that throw. He is 6 out of 9 for 87 yards. Mike Hankwitz, I'm not sure he expected the freshman slinger on the other side to be looking this good.
I'm not sure that Gene Stallings expected him to look this good, but the thing that Gene told us is that he's played awfully well for a freshman the last 3 games. That's a pretty good adjustment at halftime by the Tide.
Saran Stacy met by his numeral counterpart, 27, Greg Thomas. And Dan, your diagnosis of Mal Moore was right on the money. He did indeed suffer a slight concussion. That's the word now from the Alabama bench.
Well, having suffered numerous slight concussions of my own in my playing career, pretty easy to call. Watch this formation here.
David Palmer's at quarterback. He has shifted behind the center. And a flag on the field. Quarterback draw for Palmer. Touchdown Alabama, but it may have been a motion penalty against the Tide.
I think you got it exactly right. Big mistake for Alabama.
We have an illegal substitution. The man came in with a play and did not stay in for 1 play.
What happened there is one of the messengers for Gene Stallings went in, gave the play in the huddle, and then left the huddle, came off to the sidelines. That's illegal, and that really ticked off our official.
You know, he really did relay that call with a little anger in the voice.
He felt slighted. He wasn't reported to. This is what we talked about earlier. Watch Lee come into the huddle now, and he will go right to the players assembled in that huddle and call the play. Now, Barker will give the snap count, but Lee will tell everybody what the play is.
Well, that spoiled an opportunity for David Palmer. He takes 1 snap and finds the end zone. Would have been his 2nd score of the evening. But now it's 3rd and goal to go from the 13. Barker is back at quarterback.
Barker was in the formation that time as a wide receiver as he and Palmer switched positions.
Palmer is out of the game. Slot formation left. 3rd and goal. Stacy at the 8. Reaches for it and gets it.
Wonderful job by Jay Barker reading the blitz of Colorado, going to the open receiver. There's nobody covering Saran Stacy as he grabs this ball, and now the outstanding effort to reach across the goal line for the touchdown.
They're going for 2. He was able to fight off the tackle attempt by Deion Figures, and a timeout called from the line by Barker as Bama will try the 2-point conversion. Deion Figures should have had him at the 3. But Stacey, a great play here.
Yeah, and a great drive for Stacy. 5 rushes for 55 yards, and this 1 reception of 13 yards and 6 inches for the touchdown. That's Stacy's first touchdown reception of the year. Couldn't have come at a better time.
I tell you, it's his 2nd touchdown reception of his career. The other one was on CBS back in '89 against Tennessee, a 75-yard touchdown on a screen pass against the Volunteers in that shootout. Hey, check this, Dan. I was just looking. Was Saran's left foot out of bounds first?
Well, this is what I love about college football is we don't have any instant replay review by anybody sitting upstairs. Well, that's a touchdown whether he stepped out or knee went down or he didn't reach far enough. I love it.
You came to Joe Robbie and you were looking for the replay booth.
Yeah, it was right there with Ralphie in the cage.
Let's go. Here we go.
I think we may see Palmer back at quarterback.
Absolutely, and watch for him to roll out. The old student body right or left, and they want to use his running ability. Real smart play. Good choice by Mal Moore and Gene Stallings.
Jay Barker will not quarterback the two-point attempt.
He's on the sidelines.
7 out of 10, 100 yards and a touchdown for Barker. Watch Palmer now. Freshman speedster. Met right away. Oh, able to break away from Chad Brown, but not make it on the second effort. Ted Johnson backed up Brown, and it's 16-12 Bama.
They're going to run the option play down the line, but again, it's an outside linebacker. This time, Chad Brown, number 34, that makes the big hit. But Palmer keeps his feet. Now he runs into Ted Johnson, and they keep him out of the two-point extra point.
With this blindfold on, tell me what you smell.
I can't smell anything.
Colorado sees its lead get away here in the third quarter. Alabama with an impressive possession and a touchdown pass to Saran Stacy.
And wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the Alabama locker room at halftime and listen to Gene Stallings address his ball club, probably in the manner of the great Bear Bryant. Whatever he said, and it was had a lot to do with just let's go right at the the Colorado Buffaloes, because a lot of those runs by Stacy were right up the middle.
Cole to Johnson from the 5. Across the 30, big run. Charles Johnson to the 38, 33-yard run back, and a report now from Jim Gray.
All right, Jim Nance, a big part of the Colorado offense will be missing in the second half. Lamont Warren, the fine tailback, separated his shoulder in the first half. Lamont, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm further aggravated, so it's definite that I'll be having surgery right after the season.
It's been dislocated. It's been happening before. How much of a disappointment is this to be out of the bowl game now?
Well, I mean, I've been looking forward to the bowl since the beginning. I'm pretty disappointed, but, the team, we have a good backup, Darnell Brooks. He'll do fine.
All right, Lamont, good luck in surgery. Feel better. Let's go back upstairs.
Here's a pass play working to Westbrook. Look at him go to the 30. Michael Westbrook, touchdown. One-play drive for Colorado.
Call by Les Steckel. Alabama's been putting a lot of pressure on Hagan. They go with the wide receiver screen. They let the tied defensive line come in. He hits Westbrook over the middle, and the freshman goes the distance for Colorado.
McCartney looked up to the scoreboard as though he was contemplating and adding up the figures. Should I go for a 2? But the smart play here is the single point, and they get it. 3-point lead now for the Buffaloes. Michael Westbrook, freshman from Detroit, set a freshman receiving touchdown mark this year at Colorado. He scores at the bowl as well.
This is the new release of the latest
history. It's the longest play from scrimmage in Colorado's 16 bowl appearances. 62-yard touchdown catch and run to quickly regain the lead.
And Westbrook is the key to this new offense because of his versatility. He can play a wing back or a wide receiver, and he has a lot of speed. So McCartney's offense works a little bit better here in the second half.
19-16 Buffaloes with 10:36 to go in the third quarter. David Palmer running it back from the 3. And near the 25.
We talked about the screen pass. Watch, here's Westbrook first of all, but also watch the center Leuenberg and the right tackle Hansen. They're going to get downfield too far, and the Buffaloes get away with this one. Watch as Westbrook makes the grab. Leuenberg is 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. But this is what McCartney loves, is this speed as Westbrook pulls away from Teague with the strength and the speed to get in for 6.
Alabama first down from the I formation, and Stacy again a good gainer straight ahead for the tailback. George Wilson with a good block, and 8 yards for Saran Stacy.
And this is more like it, Jim. We saw just a miserable first half as far as both offenses are concerned. Now both teams are gearing it up a little bit. Colorado gets the big play to Westbrook, but Alabama continues to pound away at the middle of the Buffalo defense.
Stacy now with 90 yards rushing on the night. Second down and 2. Evan Turner, first down. Now, Kevin Turner's career has spanned an interesting era in Alabama football. At first, when he was in high school, he was recruited a little bit by Ray Perkins, who was named today the head coach at Arkansas State. Later, he played for Coach Bill Curry and now Gene Stalling, so he lapped over 3 regimes in Crimson Tide football. First down with Lassick running and Lassick slashing. Look at him get to the 45 of Colorado.
And they're going to get a face mask tacked on the end of this one. Lassick had a chance to go out of bounds, but showed the type of player he is. Took the hit and got extra yardage.
17 yards on the run, plus yardage on the penalty.
Watch as he bounces to the outside beyond Wolfwork there, and now with the chance to go out of bounds, he lowers his head. There's the face mask by Figures, and he can't even bring him down with a face mask.
It's been a rough quarter for Figures. He was run over by Stacy, and Stacy got a touchdown on the last possession. That time Lassick made a move on him. First down from the 40 of the Buffaloes. Leonard Renfro wrapping up Martin Houston after a short gain.
Yeah, I'm right here.
You know you're going to hear from your coach when you let a long pass play
We don't want anybody filming in on our board.
go against you, and they're trying to figure out how to defense that screen pass. But what they ought to be doing is talking to the officials and saying, hey, look, check out those offensive linemen down the field.
Another timeout called by Alabama. The Tide left with 1.
Right, this is a close game, just a 3-point lead for Colorado. You know that Alabama would love to have those timeouts at the end of this one.
I knew stress was part of the job, but my first day really put me
on the move. 2nd and 7 from the Colorado 37. They got the backup running backs in the game. Martin Houston, the fullback. Derek Lassick, the tailback. Chad Brown in on the quarterback. Barker gets away. Completes it to Buskey, his tight end, at the 12-yard line. Mark it at the 14, actually. A 23-yard pass play.
And Barker really shows a lot of strength here as he pulls away from Brown on the outside here and gives his receiver a chance to make the grab. The defender had his back to this pass. As you can see, the linebacker there, actually it's a safety, Eric Hamilton. He never saw this pass. It was underthrown, but Buskey saw it all the way.
Stacy hit first by Chad Brown.
But you see Stacy on that play. That was designed to go outside, but he knows he hasn't had a whole lot of success going out there. All his yards have been right up the middle. He said, heck with that toss to the outside. I'm going right up the middle. Took it down to about the 12. First down.
Stacy told us, by the way, the seniors have been practicing this week. We've sent a message to the younger guys on the team, we're here to win. And Stacy again on the run, this time to the 11. Will be 3rd and 7. Joel Steed, the middle linebacker. The middle linebacker, I should say the nose tackle. Steed has had, other than the fumble recovery, a rather quiet night so far. He went through a scare in the spring when a strain of mononucleosis strapped his body, lost 30 pounds. His glands were so swollen he couldn't swallow. Here's the pass toward the end zone. Is it a catch? Yes, touchdown Alabama. Kevin Lee.
And he'll take some turf home with him. You know he doesn't want anybody to touch it. Wonderful catch and a perfect throw by Barker as he led him perfectly. And the officials were right on top of it. Going up and down the field, offenses are taking control.
Barker's second touchdown pass of the quarter. Wethington adds the extra point. 23-19 Alabama.
Just a simple fade pass for Alabama. Barker throws it in the perfect spot. He leads his receiver, but Lee fights to the inside. Tight coverage by Chris Hudson. That's a good catch and a good ball.
Head and shoulders from my
leading 23-19. It's really the exact opposite of what we saw in the first half, Dan.
You obviously have to think that both coaches made some pretty good adjustments in that first half at the halftime in the locker rooms, but you also wonder about the defenses. If they think that they were rolling so well in that first half, they're kind of taking the second half off. The key for Alabama in that last drive was the play of their quarterback, Barker. He hit 4 for 4 for 75 yards and the touchdown.
For those just joining us, it still stands as 1 first down for Colorado in this entire game. Yet the Buffaloes have 19 points. Ooh, a pooch kick. Fielded by Colorado with a fair catch. Sean Embry at the 36. Here's the scoring so far in this game. David Palmer started it with a 52-yard punt return for a touchdown, his 4th of the year. Phillips with a 1-yard plunge to tie it. A safety forced by Johnson and Dyatt. Then Wethington with a field goal for Bama to lead by 1 just before the half. Last play of the half, Harper from 33. In the third quarter, Stacy on a touchdown catch and run. They missed the 2-point try. Westbrook, a 1-play drive, 62 yards, and Bama just coming back a moment ago to Lee for a 12-yard score. And here Colorado again with a play for no gain. Darnell Brooks on the run. Antonio London on the hit. Actually a loss of 3.
It's going to be very tough for Colorado to mount any type of running attack now that Lamont Warren is on the sidelines with that separated shoulder. Trying to play with a brace on that shoulder. Knew he was going to have surgery after this game, but it didn't hold up.
Second down, 13. Hagan with some time. And look at this to Charles Johnson. He should have had it at the 25.
Shoulda, woulda, and coulda, but he didn't. Ball was perfectly thrown by Hagan. He throws a real flat trajectory ball, but this one is right on the money, and Johnson just flat drops it. Both hands on it. Almost too good a pass. Would have scored easily, 5 yards behind the defenders.
Third down, 13. Hagan flushed out. Nowhere to hide at the 34. 3 downs and out for the Buffaloes. 6 minutes to go, third quarter. Bring on David Palmer for Alabama.
And And I wonder if Palmer has thought about giving up that stop-and-go move and just running hard after he makes the grab.
Fair catch at the 30. 36-yard punt. Colorado on 3rd down, 0 for 11 in picking up the first.
Where do you go for the most frightening movies on video? The most sports
Tries for touchdowns, and they're back on the field again. The offensive unit.
That offensive line of the Tide has really provided good pass protection for Barker here in the second half.
From the 30, Stacy and Turner in the backfield. Play action fake to Stacy. Barker across the middle, right into the hands of Colorado's Ronnie Bradford. And he runs it back to the Alabama 43. Intended for Prince Wembley.
Barker makes a big mistake here. Watch the coverage outside here by Bradford. As the receiver comes down on the post, it's almost as if Bradford is running this pattern. He reads the coverage. Now he's going to cut inside the receiver, go for the ball, and that is a perfect strike to the defender. A big play by Colorado's defense sets up the Buff offense in good shape.
Ronnie Bradford, he loves these bowl games. He blocked the Notre Dame point after last year. That was the difference in the Orange Bowl, a 1-point Buffalo victory. Hagan almost got it to Rico Smith. And so a block point after last year that was so critical in that game against the Irish, and an interception to slow down Alabama tonight. Hagan 3 out of 17 passing for 83 yards and a touchdown.
But in the second half, he did hit that one touchdown to Westbrook, and really Charles Johnson should have made the grab on the last series of plays.
Darnell Brooks is the single back, 2nd down 10. Hagan just looking everywhere. Great coverage downfield by Bama. He ducks under Robert Stewart, gets back to the line of scrimmage.
This is what you call a coverage sack. There's just no place for Hagan to go with this ball. He had all his receivers on medium routes, hook routes, and now nobody breaks to the clear. You can clap your hands all you want, but when you're surrounded by 2 linebackers, you're not open, buddy. And he'll go back to the huddle and he'll tell Hagan, hey, listen, man, I was wide open. The receivers lament.
3rd and 11. Hagan running out of there again. Picks up 2. Lemansky Hall took his feet away. Three downs and out for Colorado.
Super job of Alabama's defense stiffening there after the costly turnover that wasn't so costly.
Berger angling this one, and I think he didn't cut off enough yardage. Spotted at the 23. Only an 18-yard effort. We've got more bowl action coming up. New Year's Day. CBS and the Cotton Bowl. Hand in hand again. Florida State and Texas A&M this year. Florida State trying to set the Cotton Bowl on fire. Heisman Trophy runner-up Casey Weldon will lead Florida State against the nation's top defense, Texas A&M. Wednesday afternoon, 1:30 on CBS Sports.
And you get to work with another old has-been quarterback, huh?
Terry Bradshaw will be in the booth. Dan, you'll be preparing for next week's Atlanta-Washington playoff game. And here's Derek Lassick twisting to the 26. And let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, Jim, you know, these two teams have been here all week. There have been several functions going on. They've had a lot to do. They got tired of seeing each other at all the press conferences and the banquets and so forth. It's like Jay Lewinberg told us, we didn't come to party with these guys, we came to beat them. And as you can tell in the field, these guys are tired of socializing.
They have now slipped back in at quarterback David Palmer. And the little wizard gets out to the 30. That should have been a loss of about 5. Another nifty move. He broke away from Wolford. Give him 3 yards on the run.
And that's really what Stallings has in mind, is just give him the ball and let him use his natural ability. It would help if he got a little bit better blocking on that play, but you can see what he can do without any at all.
Barker comes out of the game. He was in the huddle and heads back to the sideline, so Palmer will handle the snap again. It looks like it's his series. 3rd down and 3. Never a chance. Chad Brown broke through on Palmer. He was hit by John Clay also.
Well, he wants to throw this ball, but watch when he gets in position to throw it. He looks up, and there's just nothing but white shirts there. Close to a face mask there on Beekert.
Here's a run back for Colorado. And Hagan was not on the return. It was Rico Smith. 39-yard punt, 5-yard return. Football at the Colorado 38. Well, at the end of this game, the Blockbuster folks will select a player of the game, and we'll let you know late in the 4th quarter. Quickie pass to Henry, too high.
And it could be very well be a defensive player that wins that award, especially if you look at if you split it in half and give it half to the first half of the game and offensive player maybe in the second half here. There's Les Steckel calling the plays for Colorado. Looks like the coach has got to work some things out as well.
Looks like it's going to be a busy off season. Implementing the new offense. Flags on the field as soon as the snap was handled by Hagan. See number 10 in the background? He's a possible quarterback in the future here. Cordell Stewart from Marrero, Louisiana.
The thing that coaches obviously like about Stewart is he's 6'2" and he's got a 4.4 40 time, and he makes plays in practice a la Randall Cunningham and Major Harris.
2nd down, 15. This will get very little yardage back. Mark Henry tackled right away by George Teague. I'd say if you had an opportunity to have a Randall Cunningham or even a Major Harris type college quarterback, your program would be in pretty good shape.
Well, Stewart will compete with Vance Joseph for the starting job come spring training.
Both of the quarterbacks backing up Hagan, Joseph and Stewart, come from the same town, the aforementioned Marrero, Louisiana. Hagan on a line to Rico Smith, and a 1st down at the 50.
We talked about Hagan being 5'10", and that may be stretching it a little bit, but this is his strong suit, is throwing the deep out. He does have a strong arm, and Smith gives him a nice cushion as he drives the defensive back deep and makes the catch on the sidelines.
First 3rd down conversion in 13 tries, and Hagan, no time to get that one released. Michael Rogers, freshman with a sack, the 5th Alabama sack of the night. Well, we said that Darian Hagan has presided over the finest stretch in Colorado history, a national championship, 3 Big 8 titles. He never lost a Big 8 game as a starter, 18-0-1, and he leaves with Colorado's total offense mark. 2nd and 14. And coming back to get it is Westbrook in Alabama territory at the 45. 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And that's as tough a throw as a quarterback is asked to make. Running to your left as a right-handed quarterback, and even running away from the line of scrimmage. He threw a nice pass, and Westbrook helped him out a great deal by coming back to the ball.
Colorado just used a timeout, leaving them with 2. You know, Hagan told us that some point tonight around 1 o'clock, and he forecasts quite accurately the finish time of this game. He said somewhere around 1 o'clock tonight I'll have my last pass in an organized football game. He's going to play in the Japan Bowl, but he's not going to be used as a quarterback there, Dan.
McCartney plans on showcasing his talents there as well. Use him as a running back, as a receiver a little bit, and of course he'll do some kick returning. Hagan envisions next year as being a utility player for an NFL team, much in the mold of Brian Mitchell, the Washington Redskins, a former option quarterback that has turned into a fantastic kick returner for the Skins. But this is a smart move by McCartney. He has not been very successful with his 3rd down conversions this evening. Just 1 out of 13. So this one he knows is a big one. He called the whole team over there to make sure they know what exactly to do.
3rd and 5 on Alabama turf from the 45. 3 receivers right. Hagan rolling, now planting, and a man open. The pass underthrown. Almost a 2nd interception of the night for Mark McMillan. There is a flag down in the offensive backfield.
They're going to call James Hill for holding as he was trying to protect his quarterback. It'll be interesting to see if Stallings accepts his penalty, because it happened deep in the backfield, similar to a situation earlier in the game.
Hold on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still 3rd down.
And again, this is 20 yards deep in the backfield where the penalty is here on Antonio London by James Hill. Now you add that 10 yards to the 10 yards of the penalty, you get another 20-yard penalty. So instead of 3rd and 5, you go 3rd and 25.
Back at the 35 of Colorado.
There are not a whole lot of plays in anybody's playbook for this situation.
That pass deflected. Antonio London got a hand on it.
Well, London shows his versatility, rushing the passer on one play and then dropping back in coverage on the very next one, making plays at both ends.
8 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Alabama leading 23-19. High kick by Berger forces the fair catch. And that closes out the 3rd quarter. 3 touchdowns in the period. The score, Alabama 23, Colorado 19. Alabama, Colorado, they played so many close games on the season, headed for another one. In fact, when you add it up, Alabama's final 5 games were victories by 7 points or less. Meanwhile, Colorado's last 4 games all came down to the final minute. A tie with Nebraska, a victory at Oklahoma State on a big field goal, a last-minute touchdown against Kansas, and then holding on against Iowa State by a field goal, 17-14. So Close games been the story of the season for both teams. We'll see which one perseveres tonight. Jim Nance and Dan Fouts, Jim Gray, and Andrea Joyce. Joe Robbie Stadium. Inside they go with Turner. Out to the 45, a 16-yard dash for the fullback.
Talking to Kevin Turner the other day, he said that his hero is Tom Rathman. In fact, his teammates kid him about being like Tom Rathman because he's such a fine receiver out of the backfield, but this is what he does so well, is just power right up the middle. I believe Turner's going to have a good career because he has versatility, and a lot of the pro coaches like that ability to catch the ball as a running back.
And Saran Stacy showing tremendous quickness, getting into Colorado territory and getting his 100 yards. 21 carries, 101 yards for Saran Stacy. That's the 4th game of the year where he had 100 yards.
Well, Stallings is getting wonderful balance this evening. He came into the game wanting to throw for at least 150 yards. So far, Barker has 135.
Stacy met right away on this play for no gain. Ron Wolfrick. Jay Leuenberg. Joy to visit with him this week. Danny has a good outlook on not only football but life. He's already graduated in May with a major in English. Like to give pro football a try, and I've got to think he has a future there. But he says, hey, I'm not going to be that heartbroken when that career ends.
Well, he will play pro ball, I guarantee you that.
3rd and 1. Turner easily getting the first. Chris Hudson got a hold of him at the 41.
A lot of people criticize Stallings' record at 10-1, saying they played a weak schedule. But 4 of the teams that they played are playing in bowl games. Plus they beat Auburn 13-6. So the reasons why Stallings said is that because they've stopped the run so far tonight, they've only allowed 4 yards rushing to Colorado.
First down. Stacy. He's going to throw it. No interference intended for Prince Wembley. Dion figures on the coverage. Stacy threw 4 passes this season. 2 of them went for touchdowns.
And this is really a questionable call by the officials. It appeared that Figures, there he pushes off on Wembley right there, and now he just screens him off. Actually, that's a fine play by Figures, aside from the first push that he got away with. Good job of screening the receiver from the ball.
2nd and 10, 13 minutes remaining in the game. Palmer at quarterback. Beaker in on him. Here come the rest of the Buffs, but Palmer breaks out of the jam. It gets to the 29. They're about to sack him. Instead, Palmer scampers for 12 yards.
This is not how you draw it up, Jim. Believe me, you don't let 4 guys come in on your quarterback and expect him to get away from him, unless maybe you're David Palmer. Fantastic play of not only avoiding the sack, but getting down the field and almost getting all the way to the end zone.
Barker returns to quarterback. And Stacy to the 25. Give him 4 on that one. You know, Stacy was talking to us about the great, well, you see his total offense mark tonight. He caught a pass for a touchdown, but how he likes to watch the highlight films of the former great running backs, the Hall of Famers like Gale Sayers, Walter Payton.
Earl Campbell. He just loves to watch them because he feels that someday he can do the same thing and that someday he'll be called upon. So tonight he's really carrying the load like all great running backs have to do.
This time to the 22. He said watching the NFL films when they bring back the football legends, it's not so much the highlights to pick up on the moves. It's more what people say about the players that he's interested in. And he says you always find out that the other players, the colleagues of those Hall of Famers, will tell you how these guys gave everything they had.
Sacrifice and hard work being the common thread.
Exactly. Palmer back at quarterback. And to the 20-yard line. Not enough for the first, I don't believe. It's going to be 4th and less than a yard.
Stallings will go for the field goal here, hoping to up the lead to 7 points. And now he sees how close it is. He calls his kicker off the field. They're going to go for it.
Remember, they have only 1 timeout to go. 15 seconds on the down clock, and they haven't even huddled. So they take Wethington off the field. They're going to go for it, 4th and inches.
They're going to have to call a timeout.
Yep, and that's their last. Yep, just in time indeed. Well, the officials signaled timeout Colorado. I've got to think that was a missed signal. We'll be right back. Colorado, so Alabama is left with 1.
And in a close game such as this one, both teams now have 1 timeout remaining. But that is a huge break, because there's no way Alabama could have got to the line of scrimmage and got a playoff.
4th and less than a yard. I like the fact that they're going for it.
They have been very successful running the ball here in the second half.
Chad Brown might be one guy to watch. He's been the top tackler so far. Turner, first down, Alabama. Well, you compared him to Tom Rathman, talked about how the team has compared him to Rathman. 2 years ago, Turner caught 48 passes out of the backfield. That's a receiving record for running backs in Alabama.
Well, here's the play right here. He's going to run right by Steed and pick up the first down. Steed misses a tackle in the backfield.
From the 18, Stacy out of the backfield in motion. It's Turner again. This time dropped after a 1-yard gain. You remember asking Turner, how did you guys go 10-1 this year? How did this team do it with all the young players? You're one of the few seniors. He said, we went 10-1 because we played with a lot of guts.
And the senior leadership of your 2 running backs, and especially when they're as talented as Stacy and Turner, that's really a key, because this is a young offensive line. So far, Turner's having as good a night as his partner is, with 40 yards on just 7 rushes. And a lot of them, again, have been right up the middle against the heart of that Colorado defense.
About 6 yards a carry, which is right on his season average. Second down and 9. Barker out to the right side. Stacy, and it's Thomas with the tackle, but not until Stacy picks up the Alabama first. 10 yards to Saran Stacy.
Well, we talked about this game being a showcase for Darian Hagan. Well, Gene Stallings is showcasing Stacy's ability, not only as a runner, but also as a pass receiver. That time he's motioned him out of the backfield. One-on-one coverage against Greg Thomas, a strong safety, and that was no match as Stacy picks up the first down.
David Palmer in a slot to the right, now coming to the near side on 1st and goal. Stacy on the toss. He switches directions and takes it to the right side for about a yard. Figures came up to make a good tackle this time.
Take a look at the blitz of these linebackers as Stacy hits to this side, and then, as you mentioned, Jim, he'll cut it all the way back to the weak side. But Colorado has to make something happen by blitzing. They have to force a turnover here as they trail by 4 points.
Curtis Brown and David Palmer to the right. Second down and goal from the 6. Evan Turner will force a 3rd and goal situation. Chad Brown with the first hit. This drive has taken over 6 minutes now, Dan. We have 8:40 remaining in the game. 23-19 Alabama.
And we've seen 3 drives now in the second half for Alabama. One that was dominated by Stacy, one that was dominated by the quarterback Barker, and now this one, Kevin Turner has been the main figure.
3rd and goal. Palmer to the bottom of your screen. They're looking for him. Looking for David Palmer in the corner. Oh, what a catch. Touchdown, Alabama.
See a better catch for a touchdown this side of Ann Arbor. Palmer looking a lot like Desmond Howard with the layout, the beautiful catch, beating Ronnie Bradford for the score.
Wethington with the extra point. Alabama by 11. This kid is sensational. College football has a star for the next 3 years.
This is as good as it gets right here. The concentration, there's the right foot, touchdown. He keeps catching like that, he might have a Heisman Trophy.
Freshman David Palmer, 2nd touchdown of the night.
In 1908, one of the
first 10-win season this year, ranked number 8 in the country, and now extending the lead to 11, 30-19 with 8:10 to go. In Colorado, CU has stood for not Colorado University, but Comeback U.
CU tonight. Might be see you later.
See you later.
20 points for Alabama here in the second half. Barker has been largely responsible throwing the ball for Alabama, 11 of 15. And Stalling says he needs to get more production out of his passing game. We've got to get between 150 yards passing and 200 yards passing. He's right at 150 right now. 3 touchdowns for Barker.
We have not seen Danny Woodson tonight. Stalling said we've got a quarterback playing his 4th game going against a quarterback who led a team to the national championship. But Barker's been terrific so far. Here's Westbrook on the return. And count him down at the 34. Take us through that touchdown again, Dan.
It's just a fade pattern. Here is Palmer and Bradford. But all the way to the outside here, look at all the room that Palmer has to work one-on-one. And then it's a perfect throw and beautiful athletic ability for the score. That catch is just as good as you'll ever see at any level.
I think your comparison to Desmond Howard was quite nice, because Howard made a lot of catches like that this year as well. Here's Hill in the open at midfield. And don't count out this bunch. Colorado to the 36 of Alabama.
Well, they are down by 12 points, Jim, with 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go. But they only have 1 timeout to use.
36-yard line. McCartney unveiling the offense of the future at Colorado. And trying to get it around to Rico Smith. Oh, what a losing play this will be. Smith back at the 30. The ball is free again. They rule him down at the 30. That is a 34-yard loss.
Give or take a few inches. Oh, boy, when it's going bad, it goes really bad. Talk about a disastrous play. Just when Colorado got one of their better pass plays of the day to Hill down the middle. Watch on the reverse. First thing that happens is Smith just drops the ball. Now he's surrounded. Now watch, he's going to try and throw the ball with his left hand, and he's lucky that the official called him down, or that would have been intercepted.
or grounding, anything. They could have called a lot of things on that one. Way downfield and almost intercepted by McMillan again. Charles Johnson was the receiver in the area. I tell you, Mark, McMillan's a spunky little player, isn't he? 5'8", 147 pounds, but he mans that corner position quite well for Alabama.
This is not what McCartney had in mind for his new offense, but losing Lamont Warren to that separated shoulder, that didn't help any. But McMillan said we talk about him a lot tonight, but we didn't know we'd be talking about him dropping 2 interceptions.
3rd and 43. I remember Miami converting on one of these against Notre Dame 2 years ago. But not this time for Colorado. And there's McMillan again. Showboating a bit in front of the Colorado bench.
And now he comes over to where his showboating will be more appreciated.
That's right.
That's what defensive backs and cornerbacks have to be. They have to have that type of personality where they don't care about anything but intercepting passes and making tackles.
Now let's see if David Palmer wants to add to the highlight film. Chad Brown adds to his tackle total, which will be quite large when this one's over.
I think we're looking at our blockbuster player of the game right there, number 2.
Now, I got that same feeling.
Do we get a
just
vote
a hunch?
in that, huh?
Just a hunch. Well, they haven't come by to take it yet. Well, it was in 1926 when a Goodyear blimp first arrived in South Florida, and there's been one here since. Our thanks to the folks with the Spirit of Akron and Goodyear tires for the many overhead views for our telecast tonight.
They just delivered our MVP
Boy,
ballot, Jim.
Right on cue. And they're going deep into the roster now. Terrence Lynch, 3rd team fullback. It's across the 30 to the 32.
I hope you don't mind, but I just filled in David Palmer's name for our combined vote here in the CBS.
Oh, we don't get 2. We get 1. Just 1.
We just get 1. So
1 vote? Okay.
Yeah.
So you went ahead and just awarded yourself the right to do that, huh?
You were busy talking.
Wish you picked up a check that fast. 2nd down and 8. Chris Anderson will lose yardage. Greg Pickard on the tackle.
But Palmer got it started earlier in the evening. Remember that about 4 or 5 hours ago with that beautiful 52-yard punt return. Then he caps it off with a beautiful catch in the end zone.
Are you saying this game's running a little long?
Well, I got a curfew that I've already passed, and I'm looking at an early flight in the morning that is in danger now.
Alabama 3rd and 14. 5 minutes remaining. Alabama leading by 11. Craig Harris. Man, it's good to see the senior getting some playing time. Senior from Panama City, Florida. Craig Harris. Alabama will punt. Rico Smith is the return man. Hey, that's an Alabama bowl record. 3 touchdown passes by Barker. Rico Smith from the 35. A lot of red jerseys down there. And going out of bounds, Rico Smith at the 45. Colorado, 4:25 to work with and 1 timeout.
Night and day, you are the one.
Than anyone in the world. Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of 1992 Mercury automobiles. Siemens for leading-edge technologies in electronic and electrical engineering depend on Siemens. And by Raycom, proud to be creators of the Blockbuster Bowl.
Alabama tough in the second half. And let's check Colorado, see if they have one more miraculous victory to pull off under the Darian Hagan era. Doesn't look like it. Antonio London.
Celebrating. Doing the worm down there, wasn't it?
That's the 6th sack of Hagan, and now no huddle for the Buffaloes. No huddle and virtually no offense tonight.
Yeah, no sense to go in a huddle.
High stepping away is Hagan, and he zips that one to Henry for the first, and down to the 38 of Alabama. 20 yards on that play. I've seen him pull it off too many times, Dan, to count him out.
And his teammates have too, obviously, Jim, and they think that his leadership abilities and a winning attitude, that anything's possible with Darian Hagan at quarterback.
Wide open. Oh, what a catch this time. Charles Johnson, he dropped a bomb earlier in this game, and this one a much tougher opportunity. He takes it. 13-yard line. 25 yards on that pass play. Some catch, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah, and the clock stopped because of the first down. It starts to roll now, so with this
pass goes for a touchdown. Colorado's back within 1 score. Charles Johnson, and now Colorado will have to go for 2. Charles Johnson.
He beat McMillan in the fade pattern. We've seen 3 fade patterns this evening go for touchdowns. That was a super catch by Charles E. Johnson for the score. 2 tough catches in a row for Johnson. Coverage is pretty good by McMillan, but he reaches over the top of that 5'8" defensive back for the score.
Here's the 2-point opportunity to get within a field goal. Play action, and Hagan to the back of the end zone, batted away. Lemansky Hall. That was intended for Darnell Brooks. 30-25 is our score with 3:30 to go in the game. Charles Johnson, his 2nd touchdown catch of his career at Colorado. The first time he caught a touchdown pass from a quarterback. The other one was a touchdown pass from Lamont Warren on an option play. With 1 timeout to go, do you kick it away or you kick the onside kick now?
I think you got to go for the onside kick right now. You can't afford to give the ball to Alabama and let them run the clock out. You can only stop it 1 time with your timeouts. So I would expect the onside kick. I'm sure Stallings is as well.
Let's get a report now from our man, Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you, Jim. You know, Darian Hagan is truly a remarkable individual. We all know of his accomplishments on the playing field, but what you don't know is he's from Watts, a section in Los Angeles, and he's going to graduate on time with his class. And we had a chance to talk to him a couple of days ago, and he said of all the things that he's done, he's the most proud that he's going to go out after 4 years with his degree. Jim?
It's a great story. He will graduate. He'll have to take 21 hours the spring semester, but he'll do it. He'll have the cloth, the canvas, come May.
And that'll be a heck of an accomplishment, taking 21 hours in 1 term.
And the Buffs boot it away. It'll go through the end zone, and Bama will have it at its 20-yard line.
Now the big question for McCartney is, can his defense do something they haven't been able to do since 2 or 3 hours ago in the first half of this ball game, and that stopped the tide. You look at this graphic, and this evening all 3 touchdown drives by the Buffaloes have been under 1 minute. So they've even improved on that statistic.
David Palmer to the right side. They pitch it deep to Palmer. And they go out of bounds. That's Not what you want if you're an Alabama fan, but 6 yards on the carry by Palmer. It used up 6 seconds on the clock.
And I guarantee that Mal Moore is telling him to stay in bounds and tell everybody else in that huddle that time is the important thing now, not yards. We've got to take as much time off that clock as we possibly can.
2nd down and 4. Houston and Lassick are in the game.
You can almost see Stallings ask, why did he go out of bounds?
Inside, Lassick, first down carry for the Crimson Tide.
Well, Stallings is showing a lot of confidence in his backup running backs there. He's got Lassick in the game here and Houston. These will be the backfield for next year, along with Barker, so they're getting a lot of valuable experience in crunch time.
Alabama might be one more first down away from closing this one out. Colorado's defense must rise. Must come through here to have a chance for another last-minute victory. Looking for a big loss on this play. Lassick is swarmed under at the 27. Chad Brown, again, another tackle for that Colorado outside linebacker, a loss of 6. They were all coming on that one.
You just wonder when McCartney is going to use that last timeout.
And remember the timeout that was charged to Colorado when Bama was going for it earlier in this quarter on 4th and 1. Everyone thought Alabama had used its last timeout. Wouldn't they love to have that one now? 2nd and 16. Lassick for a short gain.
Now they'll use that last timeout. So that'll bring up a 3rd and long.
3rd and 14 it will be for Gene Stallings.
And now the question for Stallings is, do you risk a forward pass here?
What do you think?
You know, I've got a hot hand as a quarterback. You got Barker out there as 7 out of 8 here in the second half, and even that one incompletion wasn't an incompletion. It was intercepted, but it still didn't hit the ground. So you got to feel that you got to give Barker a shot at completing a pass. Give him something safe, something he has a lot of confidence in. But a first down here, and this one's over. If they don't pick up the first down, then Mr. Hagan gets one more shot.
Well, I hope our next 2 bowl games are as close as this one. Tuesday, the Hancock Bowl, UCLA and Illinois, 2:30 Eastern Time. 4th straight bowl appearance for the Illini. And fullback Kevin Williams of UCLA led the Pac-10 in rushing. Then on New Year's Day, Florida State against Texas A&M. Florida State losing its last 2 regular season games. Will they bounce back? And how about Texas A&M? They have a lot to prove. They've got the future of the Southwest Conference on their shoulders. They need a big win. That's Florida State and A&M, New Year's Day, CBS. Colorado defense huddled on the sideline with Bill McCartney. We've talked about it, how this is the end of an era. This is the end of the Darian Hagan era at Colorado. Oh, how he'd love to have one more chance. They call him Mr. Magic, his teammates do.
And you just know that he's going to get one more chance. He's got to.
It's already written. 3rd and 14.
We're going to get an illegal procedure penalty against Alabama. They had 2 men moving at one time.
Turner took the handoff.
Now, Colorado can refuse this, bringing up 4th down. Clock stops, so it's a double penalty against Alabama.
2 men in motion, 1 stop, the second one did not. The penalty is declined, 4th down.
Crucial mistake by Alabama. Okay. Looking to run the clock down. 2 men in motion at the same time.
And CU is poised for another comeback. And Darian Hagan has not been returning punts in the second half. He's in there now as the returner. He'll have a chance on this short one by Williamson. Oh, he lets it bounce out of bounds at the 31. He couldn't get there in time. 38-yard punt. Hagan will have to take the Buffaloes 69 yards.
And he needs a touchdown, trailing now by 5.
Bill McCartney talked to us about Darian Hagan and how much he'll miss him.
Well, he means so much to the ball club. So many of the intangible things. Tremendous leader and competitor, and this is a wonderful way to end his Colorado career.
3 receivers to the left. Hagan flushed out of the pocket. He'll work the sideline wisely, and they mark it at the 40.
And you know he's having fun. Look at the bounce in his step as he goes back to the huddle. This is a contagious feeling that he is now transmitting to his teammates. They all believe that Hagan can get it done. And this man does too.
Where they mark the football, it's just a, well, what are they going to mark? They're going to bring the chains out to check. I believe he's a little short of the first. About a foot.
Well, this is good that it is short, Jim, because it's second down. They're obviously going to make the first down, but the clock will stop when they do make the first down. A good rule in college football, so they can reset the chains, but it gives the offense very valuable seconds at the close of a game. But wouldn't they love to have that one timeout left, though?
They really saved Alabama in that situation. 4th down, and Bama may not have beaten the down clock when they started to call for the timeout, but they saw Colorado first. Can't worry about it now. No timeouts. 2nd and inches. That'll pick up the first, and they'll go into Alabama territory at the 43. Hagan 18 yards on that dash.
And you see the clock stops as they move the chains. Hagan calling audibles at the line of scrimmage. So valuable to have a senior leader such as Hagan in this situation.
.130 remaining. Hagan in the pocket. Now from behind, Lemansky Hall drops him at the 48. And the clock will run.
And Hagan is just flat tired right now. Had nothing left in the gas tank to escape that rush. Never saw Hall come from behind.
7th sack of Hagan. This ball will be snapped with a minute to go. Almost intercepted by London. 3rd and 15 coming up. Well, hold on a minute. There is a flag on the far side. Since 1988, Colorado has come from behind with 11 wins in the last minute. And some of those have been memorable.
6 men on the line, on the offense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
And they've won in the most unusual of circumstances, including a 5th down play against Missouri a year ago. Hagan was not the quarterback. It was Charles Johnson at the end of that one. 3rd and 15. He releases it just in time, and the catch made by Brown, breaking off one tackle and getting near the first. He's about a yard shy. John Sullins decked Darian Hagan after he released it. 14 yards. It'll be 4th and 1.
That was an outstanding play by Brown, using that big body of his at 245 pounds. Kept the defender away, reached out, made the grab, and got down close to the first down.
Will the dream comeback continue, or will it end here on 4th and 1? Hagan into the middle. This game is over. Alabama stuffs them on 4th and 1. John Copeland and Lemansky Hall.
And Eric Curry came in as well, Jim. This is the quarterback's dream now. He gets the call from the sidelines, just fall on it, this baby's over. Big 4th down stop by Alabama. Take a look at it. There is Curry coming off the ball extremely fast. Cut to the inside and just stuffs the ball carrier for the loss.
James Hill never had a chance. James Hill, the fullback, trying to plunge for 1 yard to keep the drive alive.
Fantastic anticipation of the snap count by Eric Curry.
Barker falls on it. Alabama will end the season 11-1. Darian Hagan and the Buffs gave us a thrill at the end. Our players of the game, Saran Stacy. Stacy beating out David Palmer.
I guess that my vote was overruled, huh, pal?
And Chad Brown. Shows you how much weight you carry. Chad Brown was the man with the honors for Colorado. Gene Stallings. What a coaching job this year. 11-1. One of the finest option operators in the history of college football sees his college career come to a close in another thriller. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
Gene, congratulations on a great year. You come in now, you're 11-1. Nobody expected this. Your feelings, is this your most satisfying season?
Well, it was a great season. I'm proud of the players and staff. It's just fun to be at Alabama.
What about the new offense that Colorado tried to throw at you? Were you expecting that, all the throwing?
We are able to adjust to all kinds of defenses, so it was a great job.
Good game. Good game plan.
Well, Gary, and you had a great career. Your thoughts here as the career ends?
Hey, it came to an exciting end. I wouldn't say disappointing. We did what we had to do. We made a lot of mistakes early and it cost us. But, we got a heck of a ball team. They'll be back.
You were a great college player. We've all enjoyed it. Let's go back upstairs to Jim Nance.
Yes, thanks for the memories. Congratulations, Alabama. So for Dan Fouts, Andrea Joyce, and Jim Gray, Jim Nance saying so long from the Blockbuster Bowl, where the final score is Alabama 30, Colorado 25. Later today on CBS Sports, the Dallas Cowboys take on the Chicago Bears in an NFC wildcard game. It all starts with the NFL today at 12 noon Eastern, the last word before kickoff. Stay with us. More bowl action this week. You've been watching the Blockbuster Bowl on CBS Sports. Happy holidays, everybody.